Immortal Cultivation. I run an internet cafe in another world. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26. Another misunderstanding. Gao Yangzu held it down hard, and the man in the dog started to toss and turn in the bathroom like crazy. Although Teoti's strength and energy were greatly limited now, his temper was still there. It didn't take long for him to mess up a basin of water, and the whole bathroom became wet. Furious, Gao Yangzu directly grabbed the shower head on the wall and turned it on, pouring water on Teoti. Teoti screamed "ah" and fell on the shower head. Hearing the ping pong noise coming from inside, Bai Luo hurriedly let Yang fuming and the others play first and ran all the way over. As a result, he accidentally ran into Yangzu, who was almost soaked all over. She was holding Zio Hen's legs and seemed to be muttering something in her mouth. The internet cafe has always had air conditioning, and Yangzu's clothes were not too thick. The gauze long skirt on her body fit her figure curve even better after being drenched in water. She was still a little girl before, and it was no big deal. But after having the blood of Teoti, she grew so much taller in the blink of an eye and became different from before. Bai Luo was extremely embarrassed and quickly turned around to remind him, if Zio Hen doesn't want to wash, just rinse it casually. I'll ask someone to get a set of bathing utensils that pets like. Come out and blow it, your clothes are all wet. Seeing him rushing to the bathroom, several princes were worried and followed him all the way. However, they also saw that Yangzu was soaked all over, and Bai Luo's face standing at the door was as red as a monkey's butt. They remembered the rather strange and ambiguous posture between the two of them when Yangzu just woke up, and their eyes drifted back and forth between the two of them. In the end, the fifth prince reacted the fastest. He coughed heavily and said, okay, go to the trial first. Father is still waiting. Go quickly. Then he blinked at Bai Luo and said, Senior, Xiaoxu is still young. Please forgive me for some of the things she doesn't understand. Of course, we brothers all hope that she can marry into a good family as soon as possible. Senior, please help me. After saying that, he ran over. What is going on? Bai Luo had a headache. He took a big bath towel from behind the door and threw it into Yangzu's arms. Go to your room and change clothes. Did your father and others bring clothes for you to wear this time? I think they did, but it doesn't matter if they didn't. I can wear yours. Yangzu was careless and wrapped herself in the big bath towel, but she knew a little bit of wind magic. After returning to the room, it didn't take her a few minutes to dry all the clothes on her body. She was alone in the internet cafe, so it didn't matter. It didn't matter whose clothes she wore. But her father and brothers were all here. If she went out wearing a man's clothes, who knows what they would think? She had to be extra careful. Bai Luo thought that what happened just now was just a misunderstanding. Even if they saw it, it would not matter. They would definitely forget it soon. As a result, she went to the bathroom to clean up, took the aggrieved Zio Hen out, blew its fur clean, and let it play nearby, but she found that a few of them who were going to the trial in the back began to discuss in private. Senior, do you really like Xiaoxu? That's unlikely, right? Xiaoxu is still so young, she must be several years younger than you, right? What's the big deal about a few years difference? Besides, Xiaoxu has changed so much now, it's normal for you to like her. That's true. Another prince nodded. Xiaoxu has indeed grown up a lot recently. I guess she has had some adventure? Then it must be related to you, senior. Although Xiaoxu's personality is a little jumpy and a little willful, she is the youngest daughter of my father, and she is very beautiful. Maybe you like such bright and bold girls? If you can really let Xiaoxu marry you, it will be a great benefit to us. The princes were excited when they heard this. When they practiced with the senior, it was really the happiest time of their lives. No one thought that one day they would encounter such a powerful practice method. They were not particularly tired and did not spend too much effort, but their strength had such a huge improvement. Although the father cannot practice with them, it doesn't matter. At least everyone can see their strength. How great. If the senior really marries Xiaoxu in the future, they will be relatives. If they want to practice here in the future, it will be a matter of a word. There is no need to worry that other people will find out how powerful the senior is and come to share a piece of the pie with them. Thinking of this, several people began to discuss in a low voice, since the senior and Xiaoxu have a chance, why don't we help them from behind and tell the father about this? Xiaoxu can find such a good son-in-law. The father will definitely be very happy. That's right, we have to assist from behind and settle the matter between Xiaoxu and the senior as soon as possible. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. I didn't expect that they could have so many weird thoughts about me and a 13-year-old girl. Bai Luo's face turned green and he felt that his clear mind was ruined. He was particularly unhappy and planned to find an opportunity to make things clear with Aoyang and the others. By the way, tell them that he has no interest in a girl who is not too young, so don't try to match them up. After Aoyang fuming woke up, he learned that Aoyang Chen had taken people to deal with the matter of the three kingdoms arranging a giant unstage master to attack him. He just sighed, but did not think of stopping it. After he wrote the letter himself, he stretched out his hand and called a butterfly-winged bird that was specially used to deliver information. The butterfly-winged bird is relatively petite, only the size of an adult's palm. However, they are born with a very strong sense of direction and a very keen sense of smell. As long as they give it a smell of the two parties who need to deliver the letter, they will not make a mistake, even if the distance is thousands of miles. They are father and son after all. Aoyang Fuming also has a jade pendant on his body, which was personally delivered by Aoyang Chen before, and it is stained with his breath. After letting the butterfly-winged bird smell it, he tied the letter to its leg. The butterfly-winged bird was specially cultivated by their palace. It will only return all the way after delivering the letter intact to the recipient. But if something goes wrong on the way, the person delivering the letter will also notice it, so it is a useful helper in delivering information. The speed of the butterfly-winged bird is quite fast, but in one day, the news that Aoyang Fuming has woken up has been passed to Aoyang Chen. After reading the note back and forth several times, he breathed a sigh of relief. Chapter 27 The Chosen Successor. Changfeng, a trusted subordinate, walked up to him and asked, "Your Highness, is there any good news?" Of course, the Emperor has regained consciousness now, and he must be out of danger. That's great. Aoyang Chen's face was filled with joy. Although he was the eldest son of his father and a legitimate son, he had a great chance of inheriting the throne in the future. But now he felt that he was not ready yet, so he naturally hoped that his father would be in good health. His subordinates were also sincerely happy for him. It's great that the Emperor is still alive. In the future, you can let your Highness concentrate on dealing with the affairs of the three kingdoms. If the Emperor can recover, he will definitely be able to take charge of all matters in the Imperial City in a short time. Your Highness can completely focus on negotiating with the three kingdoms. Father and son went into battle together, and there was no need to worry about not being able to deal with them. This time, thanks to the senior, Aoyang Chen simply regarded Bai Luo as his savior, and hurriedly sat down in front of the desk. I have to write a letter in person. First tell my father that the crisis in the Imperial City has been resolved, and then thank the senior. After thinking for a while, he took the initiative to say to his subordinates, the senior doesn't seem to be very interested in various gold and silver treasures. You ask people to pick up more unique minerals. When I was in the internet cafe before, the senior only collected some spiritual stones when he collected the fees. I guess the senior may be more interested in that kind of minerals. The subordinates also nodded repeatedly. Although they have not been to that mysterious internet cafe, they have recently heard His Highness talk about the strength of the senior several times in a row. If they have the opportunity to see it in the future, it would be the best, and it may help their cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds. Aoyang Chen quickly wrote 2 letters, quickly put them back on the butterfly-winged bird, and took a deep breath. Next, he has to have a good talk with the three kingdoms about the various benefits they can get. The king of a country was almost killed by their scheme, and this account must be settled with them. The subordinates looked at Aoyang Chen, who was now full of the aura of a king, and couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Although His Highness had never thought of inheriting the throne at this time, they felt that with His Highness's status and current cultivation, it was enough for him to sit on the throne of the Emperor. They were also full of confidence in dealing with the three kingdoms this time, and there was no need to worry that they would suffer losses. The butterfly-winged bird was very fast and returned to the internet cafe in less than 2 days. After Aoyang Fuming personally unpacked the letter above, he looked at what Aoyang Chen introduced to him. He had solved the troubles in the Imperial City, and he also personally brought his trusted subordinates to the Kanglang Kingdom. Speaking of the compensation matters later, he was very moved. The two masters who came with him this time were his trusted subordinates, and had followed him for many years. Seeing his eyes flickering slightly, Ling Ai asked cautiously, "Master, have you encountered any trouble?" "Not really. Chenna has handled things very well recently, and I, as a father, am really comforted," Aoyang Fuming said, and showed them the letter. The two masters were also very satisfied and complimented, as expected of the heir chosen by the master early in the morning. "The eldest son has indeed performed quite well recently." Yes, everyone said that they couldn't see where Chenna's potential was back then, but I think the blood sensation in my body was completely different when I was holding Chenna. Look, doesn't it prove that my choice at that time was the most correct? Aoyang Fuming was a little proud. Who would have thought that his son, who was at the foundation building stage, could successfully advance to become a 5th level giant and master after staying in the internet cafe for such a short time. What's more, Chenna is so young. A 5th level giant and master in his 20s is extremely rare even in the 4 countries. Chenna has not yet relied on the assistance of various natural treasures, so such an adventure can be said to be quite surprising. Moreover, he had discussed with his predecessors that Chenna was like this because of his own blood and brain reaction, which was definitely the reason why he had such great fortune. His future was limitless. After thinking about it, he discussed with the two masters beside him, since Chenna has such ability, I, as a father, cannot stop his pace of progress. I was seriously injured this time, and I'm afraid it will take a long time to recover. Last time, Chenna brought people back to save the crisis of the Imperial City, and now he has successfully solved the affairs of the three kingdoms. These merits added together are incomparable to others. The two masters had a rough idea in their minds, and asked him tentatively, "What does the master mean?" "I plan to hand over the throne to Chenna after he comes back this time, and then I will rest in peace. If Chenna goes out for trials and really can't sit in the Imperial Court, I will help him watch. I believe that with Chenna leading us, we will become stronger and stronger. Maybe there will be a day when we will unify the world." As the king of a country, Aoyang Fuming certainly has his own ambitions. Read the error-free version at 69 Shuba. 6 = 9 plus SHU_BAR published this novel for the first time. However, at his age, the land area is not much different from when he first ascended the throne. I guess this will be the case for his whole life. But Chenna is different. He has such great ability at a young age. Maybe he can really take the other three kingdoms into his pocket in the future. By then, even if they face other powerful countries on this continent, they will not be without the ability to fight. As a father, Aoyang Fuming is of course very proud to see his son so lucky. Yes, I'll listen to the master's orders. The eldest son's recent performance is indeed very good, and he is also very dedicated when he brings other sons to the internet cafe. I heard from the seniors that the eldest son never hides his private interests. When other sons encounter problems, the eldest son will solve them in time. Whether it is internal or external, the eldest son can be said to be quite dedicated and responsible. Ling Ai praised. Not bad. This is what Aoyang Fuming is most satisfied with. Moreover, Aoyang Qi, the unfilial son, dared to deceive him, and even attacked Chenna. Facing his murderous moves, Chenna did not think of killing him at first. It seems that he is kind-hearted. Presumably, when he sits on the throne in the future, he will take good care of other princes, and he does not need to worry so much. Moreover, he thinks that there are countless treasures on the side of the predecessors, and he should be able to live for decades more. By then, everything should be arranged. After thinking about it, he also began to consider Aoyangzu's marriage. The 8th prince is keen on gossip. In addition, he saw the story between Bai Luo and Aoyangzu twice in a row, and he secretly told Aoyang fuming about it. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28, Marriage. After thinking for a while, he asked Lingai on the left, "You have been with me the longest. What do you think of Senior Bai Luo's character? I heard that there seems to be something between him and Zua." Lingai was a little surprised, but remembering that they had not been in the internet cafe for long, even the barriers he had encountered after years of practice had loosened. He felt that this was a treasure land and said quickly, "Master, do you think that Senior is promising?" "Yes, it's rare to meet such a master in our country, so we naturally want to win him over. Of course, it would be best if the Senior and Zua are in love. I see that the Senior is clean and there is no other woman around him. If Zua marries him, she will definitely be his wife. After all, she is my little daughter, and I believe the Senior will not treat her unfairly. If we become relatives with him in the future, can't we arrange people to come to this trial place at any time?" Aoyang fuming clearly had his eyes on this place, but the strength of the Senior was unfathomable, so they did not dare to imprison him rashly, and they still had to negotiate in a friendly manner. Of course, marriage is the best way. Linga beside him nodded. "Master, I think what you said makes sense. If you can use a more gentle method to win over this Senior, it would be the best. We can't let other countries discover this precious place, otherwise they will definitely find a way to forcibly snatch it away." "Well, that's right." Aoyang fuming was even more satisfied when he saw that his two trusted close subordinates agreed. He quickly stood up and ran to Bai Luo to discuss this matter with enthusiasm. He had just instructed Aoyangzu to play a new game, which was more popular with girls and involved various role-playing. Although Aoyangzu's fighting style was a little gentle during the battle, it could greatly train her speed. He looked at Aoyangzu's situation and knew that she might not be able to improve as much as Aoyang Chen in a short period of time, but in the case of poor strength, fast speed was good. At least it could save her life. Aoyang fuming saw that the atmosphere between the two of them was quite good, and Zua, a proud child, seemed to be very obedient in front of the Senior, which made him even more satisfied. He waved to Bai Luo. "Senior, may I talk to you for a few words?" "Okay," he nodded, and after pointing out the problem that Aoyangzu had just encountered, he came over. "What's wrong?" "It's like this. I wonder what the Senior thinks of my Zua." Aoyang fuming got straight to the point and directly pointed at Aoyangzu, who was playing with a blushing face. "Although Zua is a little younger than the Senior, I heard that she had an adventure before, and now she looks like a girl who is about to become an adult. I wonder if the Senior's family has arranged a marriage? If not, what do you think of our Zua?" Bai Luo couldn't help but feel a little headache. Do people in this continent speak so bluntly? And even if Aoyangzu is really no different from an adult girl now, she is only 13 years old after all, and he doesn't have any bad tendencies. He quickly shook his head. "I'm sorry, I can't get over it in my heart, and for me, cultivation is the most important thing at the moment, and I haven't considered personal relationships for the time being." "No way, Senior. Wouldn't it be good to get married first, and then start a career?" Moreover, this man, whom Zua had never liked before, although his personality was a little eccentric, was still a very good person. "With my father and so many brothers watching over her, she promises that she won't jump around you and will definitely not disturb your cultivation." The 8th prince came over immediately. He wished that the Senior and Aoyangzu would be a couple, so that this trial venue would definitely be his in the future. How great that would be. They wouldn't have to worry about other countries competing with them. He had never had such a hearty cultivation experience. If he could stay here for a while longer, he felt that he could at least reach 2 more realms. No, let's talk about this later. I still have something to do. You guys play first." After Bai Luo finished speaking, he quickly fled. Aoyangzu is still an underage girl, isn't he committing a crime? It's really not possible. The 8th prince was a little embarrassed and glanced at Aang fuming. Father, don't you like Zua? Don't you think Zua is not good looking? Impossible. Your sister is one of the most beautiful among the sisters. Could it be that the senior likes younger ones? This shouldn't be right, right? Aang fuming found it very difficult to understand. Isn't a girl of Zua's age just right? Although she is not yet an adult, but waiting for 2 years and preparing some dowry, isn't it just right? Why would the senior refuse? Father, let's wait a little longer. Anyway, in addition to Zua, we have so many women from the royal family. No matter which one the senior likes, we can arrange it. The 8th prince had already started to make small calculations in his mind. People like the senior must be won over, and no one can snatch this training place. So marriage is the most practical and reliable method. Yes, let me think about it. Aang fuming also fell into deep thought. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. Leng Yu is a woman after all, and it is not convenient for her to live in the same room with Si Xingshan and the others. In order to facilitate surveillance, Bao Yangchen specially reserved a room for her. Originally, he thought that the 4 of them had to sit down and have a good talk about the compensation of the 3 countries, but he did not expect Leng Yu to use the excuse of being unwell that day and insisted on asking someone to invite him over. When he arrived, he saw that Leng Yu was dressed quite beautifully, with one hand covering her heart, looking at him pitifully. What the prince wants is really a bit difficult for our Kanglang kingdom. If the prince is willing, I can give you other compensation. After that, she stood up slowly and walked to his side swayingly. The meaning was already very clear. She was planning to seduce. However, Bao Yangchen interrupted her coldly. Except for the land, or elixir, gold and silver jewelry that I need, I will not accept any compensation. You are the emperor of Kanglang Kingdom, and you even resorted to seduction for a little compensation? Bao Yangchen was extremely disgusted with her. Before, he thought that Leng Yu was a very capable woman who could sit firmly on the position of Emperor of Kanglang Kingdom, but he did not expect that she relied on such despicable means to get to the top, which made him despise her. Under his cold gaze, Leng Yu felt as if she was about to be stripped naked. The disgust in his eyes made her feel like she was struck by lightning. She immediately put on her clothes and returned to her usual calm and self-controlled appearance. The amount of compensation you are asking for is too large. I can't agree to it. Chapter 29 Repay. Then wait until I have dealt with all your masters, and then I will arrange for someone to take down your Kanglang kingdom. You must pay no less compensation. Bao Yangchen's attitude was very tough. Leng Yu's strength has not recovered yet, and she is definitely not Bao Yangchen's opponent. But just as she was about to use charm to attack, Bao Yangchen waved his hand, and a scorpion with a green body and very beautiful appearance appeared on Leng Yu's shoulder. The long scorpion tail was less than an inch away from her neck. Leng Yu was so scared that her breathing almost stopped. She looked at the scorpion on her shoulder in surprise. Is this a Daoist scorpion? How did you get it? Of course I found a way to catch it. If you move again, the scorpion's tail will immediately pierce your skin. If there is no master who has reached the level of the king of medicine to treat you within an hour, you will definitely not survive. Even the emperor is dead. It should be normal for me to take down the Kanglang kingdom. Leng Yu's whole body was stiff. She didn't expect that Yangchen was only a prince now, and his behavior was so cruel. She knew the ability of this Daoist scorpion. Although it was still small, its poison was quite terrible. Even people of her level did not want to encounter it easily. She gritted her teeth and could only agree. We need to talk about the compensation again. Wouldn't it be better if you were so obedient earlier? However, Bao Yangchen did not let the scorpion return to his hand and continued to suppress her. After several days of negotiations, the compensation was finally settled. Bao Yangchen couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Before leaving the 3 kingdoms, he specially arranged his own manpower and would never allow similar things to happen again in the future. When he returned to the internet cafe, Bao Yangfuming showed great enthusiasm for him and personally took him off the cloud-piercing shuttle, patting his shoulder with a look of relief. Chenna, I have heard about your affairs in the Kanglang kingdom. Well done. When I return, I will find a time to give you the throne. I'm old, and I should rest for a while. Father, please forgive me. I really can't accept this. Gao Yangchen actually shook his head. Several princes nearby also followed him, and were surprised to find that he refused to inherit the throne. However, even though Gao Yangchen was already the crown prince, these princes were all capable and thoughtful, and naturally did not want to be too far away from that position. Now that they found out that he refused, they actually came forward to make a fuss. Father, if the eldest brother is not happy, then why not let him think about it again? We have to respect his opinion. That's right, Father, the eldest brother should be focusing on practicing now, and it's normal for him not to consider the throne. Father, why do you have to make things difficult for him? Gao Yang fuming knew what his sons were thinking, so he scolded them all. Don't you think Chenna is not qualified to sit on the throne? Based on his recent performance, if he is not suitable, what does it have to do with you? After scolding them severely, Bao Yang fuming came over again to persuade, Chenna, you are the most capable one among all my sons, and now your cultivation has also improved. Your recent merits, background, and current achievements are enough to support you to sit on the throne. Don't worry. Father, I still decided to study with the senior for a few more years. You also know that, if it weren't for the help of the senior, I would never have achieved such an achievement in such a short time. And the senior also saved you. Father, we must repay the senior for such a great favor. Gao Yang fuming was choked immediately. Yes, he almost forgot that his life was saved by the senior. Although it was Ao Yangzu who saved him at that time, no one was willing to believe that Ao Yangzu would inexplicably possess such powerful medical skills. Everyone thought that she must have had some adventure with the senior, just like Ao Yangchen. Is there only one way for you to be the senior's apprentice? Other ways are also fine. Whatever the senior wants, we can compensate you. Gao Yangchen shook his head. His attitude was very firm. Father, I decided to be the senior's disciple for 5 years as compensation. If the senior is willing, I will definitely assist him more in the future. 5 years is not a long time. Father is in good health, and I have so many brothers, they will help you more. Seeing that he had made up his mind, Bao Yang fuming was embarrassed to refuse directly, so he could only agree. The other princes were extremely satisfied and started to make a fuss. They also wanted to learn more from the senior. Such a powerful master, everyone wanted to stay with him for a while and take advantage of him. Apart from anything else, the speed of practicing in the internet cafe alone was something they had never dared to imagine before. If the eldest brother could continue to stay with the senior, who knows how capable he would be in the future. It would be such a pity if they could not get such a benefit. Gao Yang fuming saw that his sons wanted to stay by Bai Luo's side, and he immediately refused. Can't you stay by my side? Why do you have to stay here? Your eldest brother is most familiar with the seniors. Let him go and talk. If the seniors are not willing to accept it, none of you can jump up and down. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar first published this novel. Of course, he wanted to leave such a rare opportunity to his most beloved son. Call him partial or unfair. Anyway, he has decided. The other princes immediately wilted. Father is really, partiality can't be so open, right? Bai Luo was very welcome to Ao Yangchen staying by his side. After all, although they didn't reveal their identities in front of him, it can be seen that the other party's identity is definitely very noble, and it is estimated that they are most likely the kings and princes of a country. But if they don't say it, he doesn't need to ask. But when Ao Yangchen mentioned that he planned to stay with him for 5 years as a reward, he agreed immediately and pointed to the internet cafe. You know, I have nothing in my house. It's okay if you help me, but I can't accept you as a disciple, and I don't have anything to teach you. You can just be my assistant. Why? Gao Yangchen was a little nervous. Senior, is it because my qualifications are too poor, and I can't meet your eyes? It's not that exaggerated, it's just that I'm not ready now. If you really want to stay here, be an assistant. If you don't want to be an apprentice, you can leave now. Gao Yangchen thought about it and thought it would be good to be an assistant. At least he could often learn from his senior, so he quickly agreed. Okay, as an assistant, the most important thing you need to help me with now is to start attracting customers. Apart from your family, my internet cafe has no other customers. Next, you have to find a way to let them all know that I have a great internet cafe that allows everyone to improve their cultivation while playing games, and there is no risk. You spread the news, the more people come, the more powerful the cultivation methods I can provide you in the future. If you think about it carefully, this deal is still a good deal. Bai Luo coaxed. Chapter 30. Someone finally arrives. Yes, senior, I will do it right away. Gao Yangchen agreed. He felt that, since he had promised to help the senior, he must not go back on his word. Moreover, his current cultivation was all thanks to the senior's help. As a junior, it was only natural for him to listen to the senior's instructions. Thinking of this, he hurried over to call his several younger brothers together. Gao Yang fuming didn't know what they were going to do yet, but he felt that this was the arrangement of his eldest son and he should give him full trust. With Bai Luo's consent, he played some very ordinary standalone games with Ling Ai and the others. Of course, these were very difficult for him, and he needed Ling Ai and Linga to assist him, and it took a lot of time to pass the level. However, this aroused his fighting spirit, and he had a lot of fun playing every day. However, he was still worried about the affairs of the Imperial City. Under the advice of the two masters, he would take the cloud-piercing shuttle and often travel between the Imperial City and the internet cafe. Fortunately, Bao Yangchen had arranged everything before he went to Kanglang country. Now that he had recovered, several ministers were very excited and gave him important matters to review every day. When Yang fuming had too many things to do, they would consider it carefully and then give him a result. He had a rare few days of leisure and carefree days. Although it was the first time for Yangchen to take on such a drainage task, his brain was very good. He quickly made a preliminary plan and showed it to his brothers. I decided to help the senior tell everyone in our city that he has opened a great internet cafe here and show them the huge changes we have made. What do you think? Brother, this is inappropriate, right? The 8th prince stepped forward and persuaded in a low voice, you can't tell others that you have advanced from the foundation establishment stage to the 5th stage of the golden core in a short period of time, right? Wouldn't others think that the senior's place is a holy place for cultivation? By that time, even the threshold will be trampled down. Of course we can't show it all, just tell them that the senior's internet cafe is very good. At worst, we can buy it off with money. Tell them that we can prepare gifts for anyone who comes to the internet cafe to play games and participate in trials. When they see that others have made progress, won't they want to try it? Anyway, mobilize those who have a good relationship with you first, and tell them that today is a great day for the official reopening, and all goods can enjoy discounts. If you miss this opportunity, you will miss it. Gao Yangchen was so excited when he said that. Gao Yang fuming had never seen him so interested in something before, and he was very pleased. However, even his father had conveyed his will and asked them to listen to his eldest brother's orders. What else could the other princes do? They could only follow his requirements one by one. Bai Luo also specially prepared a lot of posters for them, printed them on thicker paper, and handed them to them. Please help me take these out and distribute them to people who want to come to the internet cafe. Anyway, on the first day, I require at least 100 people to come. I have enough computers here, and the electricity can also be fully supplied. These days, when he was free, he went to the forest behind to chop a lot of firewood and brought it back, which could last for several days. As long as those people outside can see the benefits of the internet cafe, they will definitely come by themselves in the future, and then he won't have to worry about the problem of insufficient traffic. Okay, no problem. Senior, leave it to us. Gao Yangchen agreed. Everyone held flyers in their hands and went to places with particularly dense traffic in the Imperial City to distribute them. Although Yangchen's cultivation was not very impressive before, everyone had some complaints about him as a prince, but they often walked around the Imperial City, so they naturally knew what he and the other princes looked like. They found that they personally helped promote the internet cafe opened by a senior, and they all felt that the aura of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince had become more restrained, and he had definitely improved a lot compared to before. It was heard that his huge improvement was due to participating in the trial in the internet cafe. Everyone was extremely excited and hurried over with flyers. They were all princes, so they naturally had considerable appeal. In addition to the family of their mother, some friends they made on weekdays were also very interested in their adventures during this period, and they all came to take a look. It didn't take long before dozens of people came. Seeing that the internet cafe was becoming more and more lively, Bai Luo was very happy. He opened relatively simple games to everyone today, and there were very clear and concise instructions and rules posted on the wall. When he met those princes who came back from distributing flyers, he also asked them to give some instructions. Of course, he had to pay a certain salary, but it was relatively small, at most some instant noodles, self-heating hot pot, etc. However, in the eyes of those princes, these are good things that can enhance their own energy. They are satisfied, even if they don't need money, and they work very quickly. Seeing that more than 100 people have been pulled here in less than an hour, Bao Chen was very happy and took the initiative to find him. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. Senior, the drainage you arranged for me is my first task, right? Now I have completed it, senior. Now, can I become your disciple? Didn't I say it? Bai Luo looked at him with a smile. I don't plan to accept disciples. Originally, those princes planned to stay here for a while and take advantage of the great resources for cultivation. But because of some things in the Imperial City, Bao fuming summoned them back. Of course, it was also to let other ministers who were trusted by him see how obvious the changes in his sons were, so as to find a way to win over the senior. Later, more and more people came to the internet cafe. After all, everyone can use special communication symbols to send messages to their family and friends. Everyone found that they played a few games here, ate some food, and didn't have to work hard at all, but their cultivation level improved a little. They were very surprised and quickly brought their family and friends here through messages. They didn't expect the flow of people to become so huge. In the blink of an eye, the internet cafe was almost full. Bai Luo was very surprised. Everyone found that almost everything sold here contained energy. Although the strength was different, for them, it was worth it to spend so little money to buy such good things. They all placed orders frantically. Bai Luo was too busy to handle it alone, so he quickly called out to Ao Chen, please don't be idle for me, and don't worry about me not accepting apprentices. Find a way to find a few employees for me. Tell them that I will pay them. If you want to be my apprentice, we can discuss it later. Don't stand there. Chapter 31 Misunderstanding. Ao Chen heard that this matter seemed to have a way, and he might be able to stay with the senior in the future. He was immediately full of energy, agreed, and hurried over to help. The brain of a cultivator is much stronger than that of an ordinary person. Moreover, after entering the 5th level of the Golden Core, he now has almost the ability to remember everything he sees. He can tell the price of the items on the shelf with just a glance. Of course, all payments are made with spirit stones. There are several food price lists and corresponding pictures on the wall, which Bai Luo has just made in the past 2 days. No matter who wants something, they can replenish it at the first time, and the system can also continuously restock the shelves. The shelves are never empty. It was not easy to get all the customers to sit down, and the internet cafe was almost full. The rest could only wait outside for the people inside to come out before they could start the trial. Bai Luo found that, although Ao Chen was so tired that some sweat appeared on his head, he still looked very satisfied. He felt a little embarrassed. After thinking about it, he walked over to ask him, where are the employees you recruited for me? How are they? Senior, can't I be your first employee? I did a good job just now, okay? Ao Chen seemed a little proud. I just helped everyone with a game and delivered some things. It's very simple for me. It's not appropriate for you, a prince, to do these things here. Bai Luo frowned. When the guests came over just now, they were shocked to see that it was Ao Chen who served them tea and water. Several guests stood up in fear, saying that they didn't dare. Even some elders who were already older, but still tried to please Ao Chen. Bai Luo now knew who he was, and seeing that several people blurted out "Your Highness the Crown Prince," what else did he not know? He looked at Yang Chen meaningfully. "With your status, it's really a waste of talent to do errands here. It's not appropriate." "Senior, it's very appropriate." Yang Chen looked at him very firmly. "As long as I can learn by your side, I will be satisfied. Moreover, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be where I am today. Senior, please leave me here. Just tell me whatever you want." "Why are you so honest, kid?" Bai Luo raised his hand and patted him on the shoulder. "Okay, then you stay first. As for the salary, I will discuss it with you after we are free in the evening. Anyway, I won't let you suffer any loss." Yang Chen was very excited. As long as he stayed here, he would be halfway to success. He believed that, if he worked harder, the senior would definitely be happy to let him stay here. According to the requirements of the system, ordinary people can only charge 1/10 of the internet fee. After all, their cultivation is very low, and they can only play the most ordinary standalone games. They can't play those more powerful confrontation games. First, their bodies can't bear it. Second, the energy of that thing is too strong. If they absorb it carelessly, they will be in danger of exploding and dying. He can't be too careless. Therefore, when the system made this request, Bai Luo could only grit his teeth and endure it. He felt bitter. Although there were many people, everyone was so excited that they were unwilling to give way to the new players outside. When would they be able to open a customer? He was busy all day, but the income he got was not as much as when Yang Chen and his dozen brothers came here before. After all, their cultivation was not low, and they were willing to buy things, but ordinary people were not that rich. When ordinary people came to pay, they obviously spent much less money than he did before. Yang Chen was deeply impressed by his actions, and felt that he was a very principled person. He thought that Bai Luo was considering that ordinary people didn't have much money, so he deliberately lowered the price of their trials. Worried that he would lose money if this continued, he was silently planning to find some of his friends to come over another day, and he had to choose those who had experience in cultivation, so as not to let the seniors lose money every day. Maybe one day this place can't be officially opened. After Yang fuming went back, he began to make the next arrangements. Before Bai Luo didn't go to Yang Zoo, he thought that the senior felt that Zua had grown up so much in an instant and didn't like her very much. So after returning, he specially asked people to carefully select a number of girls under 10 years old, but with beautiful appearance and some cultivation, in order to win him over in time. The people didn't know what the emperor meant, but when they heard that it was to serve the seniors, they could only grit their teeth and agree. When this matter reached Yang Chen's ears, he saw Bai Luo instructing several juniors at this time, with a strange light flashing in his eyes. Could it be that the senior was actually a hidden big pervert? But it shouldn't be. When Zua was here before, they seemed to get along very well. What's going on? Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. After Yang fuming quickly selected the people, he personally asked Linger to send them to him. Looking at the more than 10 girls standing neatly in front of him, looking at him with confused eyes, Bai Luo felt that his head was about to explode and refused directly. "I have never thought of taking in apprentices, and my internet cafe is also looking for employees who want to work seriously. If they are not suitable, send them back." "Senior, what do you think is not suitable?" Linger stepped forward, looking humbly, asking for advice. "These are all carefully selected by us in the city. Some girls are of noble origin and have cultivation. If you want to teach them, it will be easy to get started. Of course, if you feel that you are not familiar with them, you can ask them to introduce themselves first." No, what is a grown man like me doing with these little girls? No, take them back." Bai Luo refused again. Yang Chen misunderstood and thought that he was deliberately pretending in front of others. After nodding to Linger, he asked him to take these girls to settle down nearby first and planned to send them over in the evening to see what he meant. Maybe they were not willing to accept it during the day, but agreed at night. Bai Luo didn't know what Yang Chen was thinking yet, and he was only concerned about the business of the internet cafe. It was finally night, and it was time for the internet cafe to close, as he had stipulated. After all, there was a curfew in the city, and it would not be good for everyone to go back too late. He had originally offered an all-night package service, but no one except Yang Chen and his brothers had enjoyed it, so he had to give up. He couldn't possibly go against the rules of an Imperial City, right? He wasn't that brave, and he felt that his ability was probably not enough, so he had to keep a low profile for now. Chapter 32 Summoning Helpers. Yao Yangzu had been making a fuss for a long time. She had been here for a few days. Although Yang fuming, had someone prepare a lot of clothes and things for her, and she could withdraw spirit stones at will, she had grown up a little. A few days ago, she complained a little bit, saying that the bra she was wearing was not suitable, and she always felt uncomfortable. After hearing this, Bai Luo couldn't help but roll his eyes at the sky. It must be uncomfortable. There are no elastic bands, buckles, cups, etc. It's just a piece of soft cloth. Yao Yangzu's personality is very lively. She likes to play some flying games all day long, and she also jumps in the backyard. It's strange that she can adapt. Bai Luo thinks that she is Yang Chen's sister after all, not to mention that she is in the growth period now. Wearing those uncomfortable clothes all day may have a certain impact on her body. Maybe she won't grow tall in the future. After hesitating for a moment, he communicated with the system and specially changed modern underwear for Yangzu. This thing is definitely something that no one has ever seen here, but Yangzu is very brave. She dares to try anything Bai Luo gives her, even underwear. Yang Chen has been eager to hug Bai Luo's thigh every day recently, trying to get him to agree to accept him as his apprentice as soon as possible. Therefore, he always keeps an eye on the house where he lives before going to bed at night. As for himself, he reopened a small one-bedroom and one living room in the backyard. When he went out for the trial, he also prepared a portable space magic weapon. He just took it out and unfolded it. He was a big man, and he was not so delicate. As a result, just after washing up and planning to talk to Zua, he found that the senior seemed to be holding a very strange thing in his hand. He had never seen it before, but it looked very blushing. Although Yang Chen is an adult, his circle is usually quite clean, and he rarely has close contact with women. Suddenly he found that the senior was holding that thing, and his expression changed all of a sudden. Is this the reason why the senior doesn't accept those girls during the day? Could it be that he will become his true self at night? What's going on? But he didn't dare to ask about the senior's affairs, so he could only keep his mouth shut. I don't know what happened, but the news here suddenly spread out. Within a few days, many people knew that the senior was a sex maniac saint. Although Bai Luo didn't know how he got this title, he found that more ordinary people came to the internet cafe recently, and they were all very happy. Everyone has improved their abilities more or less through games. However, Linger found that Bai Luo didn't seem to have thought about meeting those girls at all, so he had to bite the bullet and send them over again. Bai Luo firmly refused. I really don't need it. If your master wants to thank me, let him find a few people with flexible minds, strong bodies, and strong stress resistance to help me manage the internet cafe. As for what needs to be done, I will tell them after they arrive. These delicate girls don't need to be sent here in the future. They are useless to me. Linger was very confused, but still took the people back. Yang Chen thought that Bai Luo's aesthetics were similar to Zua's, and he didn't like those girls before. He silently wondered in his heart if there was anyone he knew who looked a little like Yangzu and had a better personality. Now that the internet cafe was doing business, Bai Luo was in a much better mood. He no longer had to worry about never reaching the sales target and being trapped in this small internet cafe for the rest of his life. Now he had the chance to play with Zhao Hei in the same mood. Teoti had been looking for a chance to escape. After all, it found that every time it approached Yangzu, it had no way to deal with her. On the contrary, because it had been staying here for longer and longer, it seemed that it could not even use most of its spells. It was anxious and wanted to go back to try whether its cultivation had really regressed. It had been trying to find a way to escape these days. But Yangzu really liked Zhao Hei and thought that this little thing was pretty good and very clean. In the internet cafe, the floor was covered with marble floors, so naturally there would be no dust. Teoti is an ancient beast after all, and now it can talk, so it naturally knows how to go to the toilet by itself, and never picks up food outside. This makes Aoyangzu very satisfied, and she often holds it in her arms. Bai Luo obviously likes it very much. When he sees Aoyangzu playing games, he will take Teoti from her arms and hug it, and the two take turns to bathe it. But every hug will deepen the restrictions on Teoti, and it is worried, fearing that it will become a captive of this human before long. It was not easy to wait until it was dark. There were many customers in the internet cafe today, and everyone was tired. At this moment, only Aoyangzu was holding Teoti. It whimpered a few times in a low voice, indicating that it was going to the toilet. Aoyangzu finally let go of her hand. However, after Teoti rushed out, he immediately let go and ran towards the deepest part of the forest. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR is the first to publish this novel. It was worried that it could not compete with the human, so it could only ask other monsters for help. As a result, when it finally persuaded some thick-skinned monsters to come over, it found that, as soon as it appeared around the internet cafe, their limbs began to tremble uncontrollably, and fear was revealed in their eyes. What are you afraid of? I have been staying there all these days, and I have been fine. Don't leave. If you leave, our friendship will be wiped out. Teoti threatened them in a low voice. Come with me, come together, we may be able to defeat her together, come on. But after a thinner monster came over, because he felt the increasingly powerful pressure, he felt that his blood circulation was not smooth, and his limbs were sore, and fell to the ground, looking at Teoti with a pleading look. I really can't do it. Let me go back. I will die if I stay here. What are you talking about? Don't I want to live well? Come with me. There are only 2 powerful humans in there. It will be fine. After saying that, Teoti called it to stand up. As a result, after the monster barely supported itself and walked a few steps forward, it was forced to die suddenly because of the powerful barrier energy. It vomited blood and fell to the ground with twitching limbs. Teoti was stunned by this situation and let out a low roar. Bai Luo's ears were very sensitive. When he heard the sound, he immediately put on his clothes and got up. As a result, when he walked out, he found a very strange animal lying on the ground. Just now, when the other monsters noticed his movements, they all ran away in a swarm. Now there were only Teoti and this unlucky monster that was killed by his barrier on the ground. Chapter 33, Senior's Test. Is this your friend? Why are you screaming so miserably? Bai Luo picked up Teoti. He was strong and had great energy, so Teoti was no match for him and could only whimper softly. Bai Luo had never seen such a strange looking thing before and didn't know what was going on. After thinking about it, he could only pick up the monster with one hand and then went to find Aoyangchen. He felt that the other party was a local after all and must know more about these strange looking animals than he did. It seemed that he couldn't even breathe, so it would be better to let Aoyangchen help take a look. Aoyangchen was definitely a typical example of someone who practiced very hard, especially after his strength level had greatly improved. Now, even when he was meditating and practicing, his speed would be a little faster than others. He knew that these were all the benefits brought to him by his predecessors, so he didn't dare to slack off here. Even though it was time for ordinary people to rest, he still sat on a cushion, crossed his knees, and absorbed the spiritual energy in the world seriously. Bai Luo stood in front of the door of his space building and knocked gently. Aoyangchen immediately came back to his senses, stood up and opened the door, and bowed politely. What can I do for you, senior? No need to be so polite. By the way, I just saw a very strange thing in the yard. Can you help me take a look at it? Bai Luo pointed at the monster under his feet, whose skin was blue-gray and had 3 legs on its head. Senior, why did this monster appear in your yard? Aoyangchen was very surprised. After all, he was well informed and walked forward to check it out. But after looking at it, he shook his head. Senior, please forgive me for being powerless. This monster is no longer alive. I really can't help it recover. How could it suddenly die in my yard? I didn't do anything. Bai Luo walked to Aoyangchen's side in confusion and squatted down. After thinking for a while, he said to him, I just went out because I heard the little rabbit's cry, but when I saw it, it was already like this. Could it be that there is danger nearby? Bai Luo originally thought that this little dog was black all over, so it would be more appropriate to call it Zhao, but it turned out that it seemed to be quite resistant to this name. Every time it was called that, it would bar its teeth at him. It was still Iangzu who flipped through the book and casually called it a little rabbit. Seeing that it didn't cry so loudly, she changed its name. Gao Yangchen was also very shocked. After thinking for a while, he explained to him, if you are not mistaken, this should be a 4th level monster in the forest. It is very fast. Of course, in our dangerous forest, the 4th level monster is not ranked, but there shouldn't be any strange things here, senior. This made our Yang Chen feel very confused. The senior is so powerful, is there anyone who dares to come and cause trouble? That is clearly looking for death. Since it can't be saved, let's find a place to bury it, and let it rest in peace. Don't throw it into the forest and let it be eaten by other monsters. Bai Luo decided. After thinking about it, when he was about to find a place for the monster to rest, Bao Yang Chen stood up quickly. Senior, leave this matter to me. I know how to deal with it. After all, he is now 5th level giant and cultivator. It is really easy to control the power remotely and dig a pit in the forest to bury the monster. If this little thing still needs to be done by the senior himself, what's the point of him being here? Okay, then you go. Thank you for your trouble. By the way, be careful. It's dark now, and it may not be safe in the forest. Although Bai Luo didn't know how strong he was, he could still feel that the dark forest ahead was definitely very dangerous at night. Although Yang Chen's strength had improved rapidly before, his combat experience was not particularly rich, so he had to be careful. The other person came to him politely and said that he was here to help. If something happened, it would be difficult to explain to his father. Yes, senior, I know everything. Bao Yang Chen nodded quickly, then silently recited the formula and appeared in the air. He was not a reckless man with courage but no strategy. Moreover, even if there were experts around him, he could not just break into a forest at night, not to mention that he was alone at this time. He used his mental power to control and find a safer place, then quickly dug a pit, buried the monster in it, and covered it with soil. After creating a barrier around it that could hide its breath, he returned to the ground. Bai Luo had already taken the little rabbit to rest in the room. Gao Yangchen thought of the monster he had just seen and became more alert. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel for the first time. However, he didn't know what was going on with the monster that had died. He thought that Bai Luo sent this thing here to test whether he had the ability to deal with a strong enemy, and now he became more alert. He specially arranged a unique formation around the yard so that if other monsters break in the future, he can also detect it in time. Fortunately, the monster had died when the senior found it. Otherwise, what would happen if other monsters with stronger abilities and more powerful attacks them? If he can't even detect such an obvious danger, the senior must be even more dissatisfied with him, right? Bai Luo didn't know what Yang Chen was thinking. After carrying the little rabbit back, he stroked its fur. Teoti was very uncomfortable. After all, it was its partner. It died inexplicably, and it felt very uncomfortable. However, the strong pressure on Bai Luo made it unable to break away, so it could only stay by his side in frustration. Gao Yang Chen didn't rest at night. Anyway, with his cultivation level, not sleeping for a few days and nights is nothing. He just needs to eat some soul restoring pills. Thinking of this, he patrolled the area carefully, fearing that he would encounter other dangers again. Although Yangzu's personality is a little bit eccentric and spoiled, she is also a grateful person. She also knew that she had only been in the internet cafe for a short time, and her strength had improved so much, all thanks to the help given to her by Bai Luo, this treasure land. The next morning, she woke up earlier than him on purpose. The kitchen was also built by the system. It was relatively simple, and it was filled with modern tools. Although Yangzu didn't know how to operate it, she still knew how to take some ready-made things from the shelf. She got up earlier than Bai Luo in the morning and when she saw him coming out, she quickly put the bread and milk from the shelf in front of him, saying, "Come and eat something. This milk is really delicious. It tastes different from what I used to drink at home." Chapter 34. Act on your own behalf. That's right, Bai Luo added in his heart. This is modern certified, the best quality milk. Okay. It was not cheap at all in modern times. Although there are various kinds of milk and goat milk in this era, the technology is definitely far inferior to that of modern times, and the taste will be greatly discounted. After sitting at the table and eating some breakfast with her, Bai Luo asked, "What game are you going to play today? I'll teach you later." "No, I'll help you next to you first, and you can come and teach me when there are fewer people." "Look, there are already people queuing outside now." Gao Yangzu shook her head. Because the effect of the internet cafe is so good, at this moment, just after dawn, there are at least 30 or 40 people queuing outside, and the number of people is still increasing. Gao Yangzu said to him sincerely, "My strength has improved a lot recently. I know that it is thanks to you and this internet cafe for helping me. There are so many customers, you and my eldest brother can't handle it alone. I'll help you next to you. It's just buying things and delivering things. I will." Gao Yangzu raised 3 fingers to guarantee. "Thank you and your elder brother for your hard work. Don't worry, I will pay you after this busy period. I will never let you suffer any loss." Bai Luo nodded. Anyway, he still lacks a few employees here. Although he knows that Yangzu and her brother and sister are both from extraordinary backgrounds, if they are willing to help, he certainly has no objection. Gao Yangzu nodded. She really didn't mind the salary. Although Bai Luo told her before that it was the wages paid to them according to their labor income, she didn't lack this. As long as she can practice here frequently in the future, she will be satisfied, and she is quite efficient in doing things. After another half an hour, they cleaned the internet cafe again, and after making sure there were no problems, they opened the door to welcome customers. After seeing the benefits of the internet cafe, everyone was like crazy, swarming here, and the internet cafe was full of business, with customers coming and going every day. This place quickly changed from a small place that no one cared about to the most popular place, where everyone came to check in. With so many customers, the daily income is considerable. Although most of them were ordinary people, Bai Luo could only collect a limited number of spirit stones, but there were too many people. Later, he increased the business hours by 2 hours. After a period of time, he calculated and found that the turnover was already considerable. As long as a period of time passed, he could complete the goal set by the system at that time. He went to other places and was in a good mood. But one morning, when he had just checked the accounts and asked the system to replenish the necessary items on the shelves, he suddenly turned around and was surprised to find that the accounts he had just settled last night were all cleared overnight. His expression changed immediately, and he sternly questioned the system. "What's going on? Could it be that someone stole my money? Host, why are you so surprised?" The system said in an indifferent tone. "I noticed that your current turnover is quite high, so I used it to expand the internet cafe. There have been so many customers recently, and the yard is big enough, so I built a new membership system for you in the back. You can charge more money to people who practice there in the future. Isn't that great? Why do you act on your own? We clearly agreed before that after the turnover reaches 1 million, the mission will be completed, and I can go to other places." Bai Luo was about to explode. He had worked so hard to get the turnover, but the system, this despicable guy, used it directly to expand the internet cafe. Did he need its help? The current business model is obviously very good, and the customers are very stable every day. Who wants it to mess around? The system said aggrievedly. The expansion of the internet cafe can also help to increase sales, and it can also attract more people. Don't worry, if you feel unhappy, I will compensate you. As for your previous sales, I will also count it in the total, and will not let you suffer any loss. As it said, a whole row of shelves appeared in front of him, and it took the initiative to say, "These are what I added for you. There are plenty of snacks, fruits, and self-heating products, and the energy contained is richer, which will definitely attract a lot of people. Why are you so angry?" Bai Luo didn't want to waste time talking to him, so he packed up his things and walked out. The system was anxious and called out to him, "Host, what are you doing?" "Nothing, just go out for a walk. If you are not satisfied with me, just explode in my body. It doesn't matter. Anyway, you don't need to discuss things with me. Why do you still call me host?" Hypocritical. This was the first time Bai Luo was so angry after arriving at this place. He finally saw the sales increase every day and felt that he was getting closer and closer to his goal. He was in a relaxed mood, but he didn't expect that it would be destroyed by the system. How could he accept this? The system saw him so angry for the first time and quickly added compensation to him. "Can I add another most popular game for you? Don't be like this." Bai Luo was too lazy to pay attention to it and strode out directly. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. The system didn't dare to really force it, so it could only find a way to leave message for Yang Chen and the others, and then followed him out with frustration. It couldn't exist independently from Bai Luo now, and seeing that he was angry at the moment, it could only shut up with frustration. When Yang Chen and his sister woke up, they found that the internet cafe was empty, with only the little rabbit curled up on the ground pitifully. Yang Zhu quickly picked it up. Seeing the note on the bar, saying that Bai Luo was going out for a walk, they didn't take it seriously. Yang Chen thought that this was a trial opportunity given to him by his senior, and waved to Yang Zhu. "Come on, since the senior is not here, we have to keep an eye on the internet cafe. There will definitely be more people later, so follow my arrangements." Yang Zhu also nodded. She has become more mature and rational recently. Moreover, the two of them are outsiders, so no one dares to mess around in the internet cafe. Even without Bai Luo watching here, everything is still in order and nothing happened. Bai Luo was so angry that he didn't bother to care about the business of the internet cafe anymore. Anyway, the money can be used to upgrade the system directly without his consent, so why should he stay here? Before, he was single-minded and conscientious to think of ways to increase the turnover of the internet cafe. Wasn't it to achieve the goal as soon as possible? Since other people can easily change his target now, there is no need to stay here like he is in prison. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35. The Mysterious Man Appears. It was not easy to come to a new world, so why not walk around more? He completely ignored the system's active flattery and went directly to the northwest continent indicated on the map, which was the most sparsely populated. He was angry at the moment, and any pair of shoes on his feet had the same effect as the cloud shuttle. It seemed that he was walking around leisurely, but in fact, his speed was quite fast. It didn't take long before he walked hundreds of miles. He didn't feel tired at all and looked around. The vegetation where he was very sparse, and there was yellow sand everywhere. Even the occasional vegetation was similar to cactus, which was extremely drought resistant. After he walked forward to take a look, he sat down on the ground and reached out to touch it. Only then did he find that even the ground was much hotter than the internet cafe before. He didn't want to communicate with the system, so he just found a young man walking nearby and greeted him. "Brother, I came from a long way. I don't know why this place is so dry and water scarce. Is there something wrong?" As he said that, Bai Luo handed him a bag of beef jerky. This young man was quite adventurous. He found that what Bai Luo handed to him was the same thing he was eating, so he tried it boldly. After taking a bite, he was immediately attracted by the spicy and fresh taste. Moreover, this was a food rich in energy. The young man instantly had a good impression of him. Because there was a lack of water here, the people nearby lived in poverty. Suddenly eating such a good thing, the young man tasted it casually and put it away again, planning to give it to his parents and siblings at home. Then, he looked at him politely and said, "Brother, are you here to visit relatives? If so, I advise you to speed up during the day, otherwise it will be very dangerous here at night." After that, he pointed to a towering mountain about 1 or 2 miles away from them. This young man was also a cultivator with good eyesight. He said his surname was Liu, and pointed to the mountain with a frustrated look on his face. Brother, you don't know that our volcano is very dangerous. In addition to this place, there are many active volcanoes in the entire northwest continent. I heard from the elders that these volcanoes will erupt once they encounter very strong energy fluctuations. Hundreds of years ago, our place was also a place with water and grass, and people lived and worked in peace and contentment. As a result, because the volcano erupted from time to time, the ground became increasingly water scarce, and many things could not be planted. Anyone with a little bit of wealth moved to other places, so there are fewer and fewer people. Bai Luo touched the soil on the ground, took it to his nose and smelled it. There was indeed a little smell of volcanic ash, so he asked, when was the last time this volcano erupted? 3 years ago, but there are often some small turbulences, and earthquakes are also obvious here. Originally, there was a very large lake here, and everyone didn't have to worry about the water they used in their daily lives, but after the earthquake, even the lake was infinitely diverted, and the land behind it became increasingly dry. If you want to get water, you have to go a long way. The young man was helpless. After Bai Luo found out the matter clearly, he didn't waste time with him, and went to the volcano to take a look. The young man looked at his receding figure, but didn't say anything. He turned around and walked towards his home. However, the closer he got to the volcano, the more Bai Luo felt that this place was very strange, as if there was some very strange energy hidden underground. But the outside seemed to be blocked by an invisible barrier, so he didn't force himself to get in. After circling around, he went to a more barren place. The deeper he went, the more headache the drought in the northwest continent became. At first, he could still see some small rivers, but after entering the northernmost part, he found that it was almost like a desert. There was no green from a long distance, and there was not even a living thing next to it. However, because of the huge energy he carried, he also alarmed the energy of a small volcano when he walked around, causing it to erupt. Because the temperature nearby was too high and there was no water source, almost no one lived here, so it did not cause any large-scale impact. It was just that the volcanic ash rising into the sky made the people nervous, and they felt more and more that they had to stay away from this dangerous continent when they made money in the future. Bai Luo didn't know that his energy had such a strong influence. After wandering outside for half a month, he finally received a letter from Liang Chen and the others and rushed back. In the blink of an eye, a month passed, and the business of the internet cafe was getting better and better. The member rooms that the system had opened in the back without his permission were almost booked every day. Now Bai Luo's mood has calmed down a lot, and he is too lazy to bother with it. The turnover of the internet cafe is considerable. He found 2 more smart people to help, and gave Liang Chen and the others time to practice outside. When he was free during the day, he would personally teach them combat skills. When the evening came, Liang Chen and his sister would team up, or separate and go to the forest to train together. Unknowingly, their strength has improved a lot, and they are very grateful for Bai Luo's help. The error-free version is available at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. Every time he encountered various treasures in the forest, Liang Chen would take the initiative to give them to him. Bai Luo would occasionally accept them, but most of them were kept for his own use. It was another evening. After finishing the work at the internet cafe, Liang Chen went to the forest to practice alone with his magic weapon. There were wild beasts of different grades everywhere. Meeting any one of them could greatly improve his combat skills. Liang Chen would not kill them all. He would stop after the trial was completed. However, just as he walked to a hot spring, he felt that the water elemental power here was very gentle, and it had very obvious water spirit power. He was about to use a water tank to fill more water and let the senior and Liang Zhu follow him to soak, but suddenly he heard a very light footsteps coming from the side. He paused and immediately hid behind a big rock. The mysterious man obviously felt that the water source here was different from other places, and called his companions beside him. "We have been traveling for so long, we are really tired, let's take a dip here. The water here is full of spiritual energy, which can help us recover soon." "Indeed, we are tired." We have been traveling all the way here these days, and we didn't even have time to rest and eat something. Several mysterious people behind said, and took off their outer robes one after another, wearing only the close-fitting combat uniforms inside, and soaked in the hot spring pool. Gao Yangchen curled his lips. What's the point of soaking like this? However, his subtle movement was noticed by the mysterious person who led the group, and he pointed behind the big rock. In the blink of an eye, a warm stream of water immediately hit the big rock in the direction of his finger. Chapter 36 Yangchen is tortured. In the blink of an eye, the stone broke into pieces. Although Yangchen dodged quickly and was not hit by the stone, his body was still inevitably stained with water. He was angry and glared at the mysterious man. What do you want to do? At the same time, his cultivation level of the 5th level of Jianden was undisguised. Such a young Jianden master, who are you? The mysterious man was a little surprised. This young man looked only in his early 20s. Although I didn't touch his bones, I didn't know how old his bones were, but such a young Jianden master is quite rare in this whole continent, right? It has nothing to do with you. Who are you, and what do you want to do here? This hot spring is less than 20 miles away from the internet cafe. The other party said that he came all the way here. Could it be that he came here for the strength of the internet cafe? Gao Yangchen thought of this, and was immediately full of vigilance against them. You didn't even answer our questions. Why should I answer your questions? The mysterious man said, and then closed his eyes. We came here for important things to do. Young man, we have no intention of clashing with you. You should leave early. The person next to him said. You are not here for a place that can help you, are you? Gao Yangchen asked tentatively. If the other party really came for the internet cafe, he didn't want them to get the benefits of the internet cafe. After all, the senior opened the internet cafe here, and it was said that he had a mission. He didn't want this mysterious man who was obviously strong to be tested in the internet cafe. Otherwise, once he knew the benefits there, he would definitely compete with them. The mysterious man just pretended not to hear him and continued to enjoy this moment of comfort. He was not timid, but felt that such a young man had such a profound cultivation. There must be a huge force behind him, or his own talent was very terrible. Of course, no matter which one it was, there was no need to conflict with him. What's more, they were really tired and needed a good rest. However, the other party didn't say a word, but Yangchen mistakenly thought that he had guessed it just now. He remembered his father's previous instructions, never allow any other forces to occupy the internet cafe. After thinking for a while, he grabbed the ground with his fingers, and the various dead branches and leaves next to him gathered into a huge ball in his hand in the blink of an eye, and threw it towards the mysterious people. Since the other party didn't tell the truth, he would take advantage of the fact that they haven't arrived at the internet cafe yet and catch them all in one fell swoop, so as not to compete with them for their excellent trial place. The mysterious man didn't expect Yangchen to suddenly attack, and he was immediately angry. He slapped his palm on the water, jumped directly into the air, and fought with him in the woods. Bai Luo didn't know what happened between the two of them, and was still watching the internet cafe. Now that the customers have left, they need to clean up on time and check the recent turnover. He had a conflict with the system before, and now he is too lazy to care about the system. Every day, he carefully guards the balance, for fear that the unruly person will give the internet cafe an inexplicable upgrade without his permission, and then all the money he has worked so hard to earn will be gone. However, after some calculations, Bai Luo found that there was a big discrepancy in the turnover of the internet cafe. The data was very good a few days ago, but now it was only 300,000. He was furious, and had a fierce argument with the system. What did you do? What about the other turnover? Did you secretly use it to do other things? Host, don't be so excited, the system replied innocently. Didn't I upgrade the internet cafe for you? I also provided some more things, but the money I need to spend when purchasing goods must be deducted from the turnover. Otherwise, how can the internet cafe continue to develop in the long run? You have to allow the money to go in and out. I can't always let you make money, and I will always provide you with all kinds of things without complaints, right? This is unfair. You clearly told me before that the money you use to upgrade the internet cafe will not be deducted, and you will not treat me unfairly. Bai Luo was about to explode. He always felt that this system was full of tricks and dug one pit after another, waiting for him to jump in. If I had known this, I shouldn't have cooperated with this cunning guy. Host, don't be so excited. Operating this system also costs money. Otherwise, how can the internet cafe continue to operate? Even if you open a store outside to do business, don't you also need raw materials? It's the same here. The system kept comforting him. Host, I believe in your ability, and what's more, don't you have some left now? If you hold on for a while, you will definitely be able to achieve your goal. Bai Luo was so angry that he stopped talking to it. The system repeatedly challenged his bottom line, and he really didn't bother to pay attention to it. Seeing that he didn't say anything, the system kept chattering beside him, but Bai Luo ignored it completely and just pretended that it didn't exist. After cleaning up the internet cafe, he went to rest directly and didn't say a word to the system, no matter how noisy it was. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR is the first to publish this novel. Gao Yangchen had just fought with the opponent when he found that the opponent's strength was not weak. Although he had reached the 5th level of giant in cultivation, he had improved too quickly before. In terms of combat ability, he was definitely not as good as a battle-hardened master like the mysterious man. Although the two were of similar strength, the opponent's reaction speed was obviously faster and he knew more skills. It didn't take long for Ao Yangchen to be beaten by him. If it weren't for the powerful armor on his body, he would have been seriously injured. The mysterious man just thought that the young man was quite strong, and they didn't want to cause unnecessary trouble when they were out and about, so they didn't intend to attack him at all, but the other party took the initiative to attack them. The mysterious man also had a temper. He used all his strength when he attacked, until Ao Yangchen was beaten by him and dodged everywhere, and became embarrassed, and then he stopped a little. Just when he was about to call his companions to come up and deal with the opponent directly and take off the valuable armor on his body for their use, Teoti, who had been staying in the internet cafe, suddenly raised his head. It was originally a prehistoric beast living deep in the center of the forest. It was very familiar with every plant and tree in the forest. The huge fight between Ao Yangchen and the mysterious man naturally alarmed it. These days in the internet cafe, it has also had a lot of contact with Ao Yangchen. It found that the human had no ill will towards it, and Teoti didn't think of cleaning it up. Feeling that Ao Yangchen's breath has become quite weak now, it hurriedly reminded Bai Luo a few words, but it didn't expect that every time it opened its mouth, it would make a dog bark. Teoti was about to go crazy, and after reacting, he immediately shut his mouth in shame. Chapter 37. Teoti's Strength. What's wrong? Little rabbit, do you want to go out and play? Bai Luo opened his eyes, picked up Teoti, and touched its soft fur. But you have to wait. Ao Yangchen and the others haven't come back yet. I'll take you out for a walk after they come back, okay? I've locked you up in the internet cafe every day recently. You must be bored, right? Ao Yangchen was slapped hard on the ground by the mysterious man again, splashing a large amount of dust, and even a human-shaped pit was smashed on the ground. Teoti thought about it, reminded again, and barked a few more times in the direction of the forest. Forget it, you little guy. Even if others catch you, it probably won't be a big deal. If you want to go out and play, go ahead, but don't run too far, otherwise I won't be able to find you later. Bai Luo said, and put Teoti on the ground. After all, this little guy was quite honest when he ran out to play before, and only stayed in his internet cafe and the surrounding area. After he went out, he opened his spiritual sense, and found it in the blink of an eye. He didn't worry at first. What he didn't know was that because of the huge energy suppression on his body, Teoti couldn't run far before, so he stayed here. But after eating a lot of energy containing things here, Teoti's strength has improved, and he can naturally run out. Feeling the breath in the forest, Teoti originally planned to run all the way back and never come back, but Bai Luo reminded him from behind. You can only play outside for 3/4 of an hour at most. You have to come back to eat later. If you see Ao Yangchen, let him go back early. The forest is more dangerous at night. Teoti paused for a moment, thinking that Bai Luo had seen through his thoughts. Now he didn't dare to run away directly. He could only follow the movement in the air he just noticed and ran to the place where Yang Chen and the others fought. The mysterious man was furious. He found that Yang Chen was still protecting his armor and was unwilling to take it off. He took out his life magic weapon from his danshan in a rage. He chanted the formula, and the magic weapon turned into a crimson whip in the blink of an eye and whipped Yang Chen fiercely. Although Yang Chen's armor had strong defensive performance, he was not completely insensitive to external pain, especially since the whip was covered with a layer of flames. After being whipped, Yang Chen couldn't stand the pain and rolled on the ground twice, but he also had self-esteem and pride. No matter how uncomfortable he felt, he didn't cry out and gritted his teeth and persisted. When Teoti rushed over, he saw the mysterious man beating Yang Chen, and he was immediately furious. After all, this young man was pretty good to him. When he caught various small carnivores in the forest before, he would take them back to it. Teoti had no grudge against him, so he naturally couldn't bear to see Yang Chen being beaten by this mysterious man. It rushed forward with a roar. Although it was small at this moment, and its blood was sealed a lot, because it turned into a dog, it was far away from Bai Luo, after appearing in the forest, so it could exert most of its energy. Teoti jumped into the air, and kicked the mysterious man hard. Although it was only about 1 foot long at this moment, the mysterious man felt that the strength he had just gathered was scattered by this kick, and his head was hit hard. Even the whip in his hand was unstable and shaky. Teoti took this opportunity to rush forward again and kicked him several times in a row. It didn't stop until the mysterious man fell to the ground in a more tragic posture than Yang Chen just now. It rushed to the mysterious man's side and kicked him back and forth on the face with its front paws. The mysterious man could hardly open his eyes now, and all he could see were golden stars. The mysterious people watching nearby were stunned. Teoti took a few steps back and then kicked the mysterious man far away with a fierce kick. The people nearby did not expect that their boss would be blown away by a dog that looked unremarkable. They were very surprised and rushed up, not caring to catch the dog and study it carefully. Yang Chen was lying on the ground at this moment and had fallen into a semi-comatose state. Teoti was worried about him, so he quickly bit Yang Chen's sleeve, dragged him into the air, and quickly rushed back. Fortunately, the energy in its body can still be used now. After dragging Yang Chen to the sky above the internet cafe, it felt the extremely powerful suppression from Bai Luo, and its speed suddenly slowed down. It quickly controlled itself to slowly fall from the air, and shouted several times in a row inside. Yang Chen? What's going on? Hearing the voice, Bai Luo hurriedly ran out of the internet cafe. Seeing Yang Chen covered in dust and dirt, with a pale face, still lying on the ground, he quickly carried him on his back and asked Teoti beside him, "Did you save him?" Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. Teoti couldn't speak, so he could only nod. Bai Luo praised it. "Thanks to you, you kept calling just now, because you sensed that Yang Chen was in danger, right?" Teoti nodded frantically again. This human had no grudges with it in the past or in the present, so there was no need to kill him. Moreover, although it was an ancient beast, it was not a very bloodthirsty existence. If it hurt too many innocent humans, they would also be condemned by the law of heaven, and they could not take such a risk. Our little rabbit is great. If Yang Chen was sent back a little later, I'm afraid it would be troublesome. Bai Luo quickly settled Yang Chen in the room, and then stuffed the potion he prepared into his mouth. After a while, seeing that Yang Chen's breathing gradually became more stable, he was finally able to free his hands, hold Teoti in his arms, and touch its back. "You have made a great contribution this time. I have to thank you very much." After thinking about it, he communicated with the system in a frustrated manner. "Do you have dog food? Exchange some for me. This time, thanks to Zhao too. If something happens to Yang Chen, how can I explain to his father?" Host: "Of course there is dog food, but the energy is relatively high. Are you sure this dog can adapt to it?" The system said, and put a bag of dog food weighing several kilograms and some snacks that dogs like to eat on the ground. "Whether it is edible or not, you will know after trying it. Anyway, it won't be poisonous. I think the blood in its body should be different from ordinary ones, so it can be eaten. After Bai Luo finished speaking, he went to find a bowl and poured the dog food into the bowl. This is the first time for Teoti to eat this kind of food. It can also understand human words, although not very clear, but there are pictures on it. It can tell at a glance that this is food for dogs. Chapter 38. Going to get back your place. But it is in the form of a dog now. If it does not eat at all, it is afraid that it will arouse a suspicion of this human. As a result, it hesitated for a while, smelled the extremely rich energy in the dog food, and immediately jumped out of Bai Luo's arms and ate a few mouthfuls. When the dog food entered its stomach, the extremely huge spiritual power immediately began to flow around in its body, and Teoti was almost stunned. It had never thought that there was such a powerful thing in the world. Although it used to eat some fierce beasts of high grade in the forest, their flesh and blood were extremely nutritious to itself. But the energy of those fierce beasts was not as good as this little food, which was amazing. During this period of time, Teoti's cultivation level has also improved a lot without knowing it. After all, the food that Bai Luo feeds it every day is rich in energy. And even if it does not play games, but only walks around in the internet cafe to watch those people play, it will learn something unintentionally. I didn't expect that its strength can be improved. Teoti's heart has begun to waver. A prehistoric beast like it has an advantage when it is born, and its natural cultivation speed is much faster than other beasts. However, when they reach the transformation stage and their strength is quite strong, it will not be easy to move forward. After all, they have to leave enough living space for other beasts and demons. Otherwise, if they can practice without obstacles, because of their innate bloodline ability, it will be unfair to other races. Teoti thought about the scenes in the internet cafe and slowly slowed down the speed of eating dog food. Now it suddenly felt that it seemed that there was no problem staying with Bai Luo. At least there were so many delicious foods here, and they were all full of spiritual power, which was good for its own cultivation. Nothing particularly important happened in the forest recently, otherwise its younger brothers would definitely come to find it. In this case, it might as well stay here for a while. Maybe its strength level will be even higher in the future. Wouldn't it be better then? Thinking of this, it decided to stay in the internet cafe for a while and continue to lie down. It will go back when something big happens in the forest, and it needs to go back to take command. Thinking of this, it obviously ate dog food much faster, with a cheerful look on its face. Bai Luo touched its back and hurried to the room to check on Chen. Although he had suffered a serious skin injury just now, fortunately his Danshan and heart meridian were not damaged. After Bai Luo personally checked him and fed him a lot of elixirs, Chen recovered quickly. After sleeping for more than an hour, he finally woke up slowly. Bai Luo had been guarding by the side, and Zhu had been arranged by him to rest. After all, she was also growing up, and he felt that, although Chen looked a little sluggish now, his breath was still normal, and nothing serious should happen, so he stayed here alone. Chen slowly opened his eyes, and found Bai Luo reading a book by the bed. He was very embarrassed and struggled to stand up. "Senior, how long have I been unconscious? I'm really sorry for causing you trouble. Why are you so polite?" Bai Luo stepped forward to check his pulse, and then probed a trace of spiritual power into his forehead. After taking a look at the internal condition of his body, he finally relaxed a lot. "There is no big problem, just have a good rest for a few days, and eat something with energy. Be careful next time you have encountered a strong enemy in the forest, right?" Chen nodded, with a face full of shame. "Senior, it's all my fault for not being good enough in learning skills and embarrassing you. What does this have to do with that?" Bai Luo didn't understand what he meant, and shook his head. "You are still so young, it is normal to encounter danger. But this time, thanks to the little rabbit, it found you in danger and rescued you. Bring it more delicious food and thank it later." Chen was helpless and unwilling to be pressed to the ground by others. In addition, he understood Bai Luo's meaning and thought that he already knew what happened in the forest. He pretended not to know because he wanted to use his ability to solve the troubles he encountered before. Chen thought silently in his heart, could it be that those mysterious people don't have a good relationship with the senior, or even an enemy? Otherwise, the senior should not let the little rabbit rescue him. After all, he can see that the dog is definitely not that simple, and it can drag a living person like him back from such a far place, so its strength must be not as good. Gao Yangchen rolled his eyes and nodded in agreement, saying that he would definitely get things done as soon as possible. Bai Luo didn't know what he was talking about and nodded randomly. Then you should have a good rest. By the way, hold this thing. After that, he stuffed a message talisman into his hand. If you feel uncomfortable, press it in time, and I will come right over. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. Yes, thank you senior. Bai Luo left some energy replenishing things beside him, and then went back to the room to rest. Gao Yangchen's body recovered very quickly, and Bai Luo had countless elixirs and energy-rich food to nourish him. In just 3 or 4 days, he felt that he had recovered to the same level as usual. Thinking of the last time he was beaten up by the mysterious man, but had no power to fight back, Gao Yangchen was very annoyed. Originally, he thought that, because of the coincidence of his seniors, his strength had been greatly improved in such a short time, and he thought that he should not often encounter various powerful opponents, but he didn't expect that he could meet someone who could beat him directly in the nearby forest. Gao Yangchen was also a little proud and wanted to prove himself in front of his seniors. He had been playing games every day recently, constantly improving his strength. After he felt that he had recovered, he brought some instant noodles and powerful food and went to find the mysterious man. He had to find a chance to get back the place he had lost before, and he couldn't let his seniors down. Bai Luo also knew that Yangchen had taken the things out, but he didn't take it to heart. After all, the business of the internet cafe was good recently, and all aspects were developing in a balanced and orderly manner. It was normal for him to go to the forest for a trial, so he didn't keep him. But outside the internet cafe, other countries were not peaceful at the moment. Although Yangchen had personally gone to Kanglang country to sign a series of treaties with them before, the 3 countries still didn't think of letting them go so easily. On the surface, they pretended to be quite polite and gradually sent over the things they needed to compensate according to the previous requirements, but privately, they still arranged people to carefully test their military strength. Chapter 39, Personal Appearance. There are armies of different countries stationed at the borders of the 4 countries. Sometimes some small conflicts will break out, but they are not serious. However, recently, when they deliberately created chaos and fought with each other, after a few moves, they found that their army's strength suddenly became very strong, at least 2 major realms higher than before. When the news came back to Kanglang country, Leng Yu stood up with a frown and walked several steps in the hall. Then, he told his confidant beside him, I plan to go there in person to see what method they used to make the strength of both the prince and the army so greatly improved. Is there some kind of monster behind the scenes who is personally instructing them? My lord, leave these things to us. You still have to manage the big and small things of Kanglang country. The confidant was a little worried. They were all shocked when Yangchen came here before. They didn't expect that he could reach the 5th level of Jiandan in such a short time. This speed is almost like practicing while sitting on the piercing cloud shuttle. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would not believe it at all. No, I don't feel comfortable letting other people go, and after all, I'm the Emperor of Kanglang. Even if they find out what I want to do, they dare not do anything to me. Leng Yu's expression was very serious. As the ruler of a country, she would never allow a country that was obviously similar to them before to have such a strong improvement in the strength of its army in such a short time. The unequal treaty signed when Yangchen came here has already caused Kanglang to lose a lot of things. If their strength is further improved in the future, both sides will definitely face a war. She absolutely cannot watch the soldiers of Kanglang die. So she must find out why they have made such great progress. But if you leave, how will the country's affairs be handled? The subordinate persuaded earnestly. If you are really worried, why don't I lead a team of brothers there myself? We are all experienced, and it will be much easier to find out the news. Domestic affairs. Leng Yu thought for a while, and said to his confidant, Zinayu is not young anymore. I have been teaching her to manage the country's affairs over the years. I think she should be able to do it. During my absence, she will govern the country. I will go to Yang Chen and his team to take a look. Okay, no need to persuade me anymore. I have made a decision on this matter. Seeing that she was so determined, the confidant had no choice but to agree and resigned himself to deploy the most powerful defense of the Kanglang Kingdom. Leng Yu quickly asked the crane to send a message and called her sister Xinyu over. Xinyu's eyebrows were still a little immature and she was somewhat dependent on Leng Yu. Seeing that she came to him so seriously, he was a little worried. He leaned on her shoulder carefully and asked, "Sister, what's the matter with you suddenly looking for me? Did you encounter any trouble in junior high school?" "It's not that serious, Xinyu. For so many years, I have been teaching you the strategies of governing the country. Do you still remember it?" Leng Yu gently touched her head. The two of them are sisters with a very close relationship. In the past, Leng Yu was worried that when she was out to deal with important affairs, no one would look after the affairs of junior high school, so she taught her sister in person. After so many years, Xinyu must not let her down. "Don't worry, sister, I remember everything." Xinyu raised her head quickly and assured with a serious face, "Sister, I never dare to slack off on what you taught me." "That's good." Leng Yu told her about the arrangements later and saw that her face fell instantly. He gently touched her cheek and looked at her seriously. "As the ruler of Kanglang country, I will never allow other countries to suddenly increase their strength without our knowledge. This will be very dangerous for us." "But sister, I haven't learned the essence of governing a country yet. What should I do if you suddenly leave?" Xinyu was a little panicked. From what her sister said, it would take a long time to go out this time. What if something happened in the country? "I believe you. You are my sister and you won't let me down." Leng Yu looked at her encouragingly. "What's more, I'm the ruler of a country anyway. Even if they find out what I want to do, they won't do anything to me. If you encounter any trouble, you can also use the crane to send me a message in time. I will teach you how to do it as soon as I receive the message. At the same time, I will arrange more masters around you. There will be no problem, understand?" Xinyu saw that she was so determined and knew that she had made a decision. She could only listen to her instructions quietly. "Okay, sister, I will listen to you." "That's right. The two of us sisters will join forces to make Kanglang country stronger and stronger. We can't be bullied by anyone." Xinyu nodded vigorously. After arranging the affairs of the country, Leng Yu packed up her things and hid them in the storage bag. She only told a few of her close friends that she had left and then went to Yang Dynasty to investigate the situation. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel for the first time. Since Yang Fuming deployed more than double the number of soldiers at the border, he also specially arranged for several princes whose strength had been significantly improved during the trial in the internet cafe to be stationed nearby. The previous sneak attack by other countries made him feel scared, and Chenna also reminded him that, although Chenna had signed an agreement with the three countries with his absolutely strong strength, it was obvious that they would not bow their heads so easily, and they would definitely find a way to fight for their rights and interests at that time. So at this moment, you must not take it lightly, and you must check any time and anywhere to see if there will be any spies from other three countries entering the Imperial City. These princes are also eager to try and can't wait to make contributions on the battlefield and strive for opportunities to show off in front of Yang Fuming. They are also very careful when they arrive at the border. Leng Yu packed her bag and went to the border between the two countries with only 2 followers. But what she didn't know was that in the process of playing the game trial, the prince's strength had improved significantly and they had become more sensitive to the dangers of the outside world. Leng Yu's people had just entered the border area within 5 miles when they were discovered by them. The third prince waved his hand majestically to the side. "Go, find out where the 3 figures came from. Father has already ordered that no outsiders are allowed to enter the border area. If the other party is a spy, expel them immediately." "Yes," the subordinate beside him agreed, and then took a team of personal soldiers to investigate. Leng Yu and her friends disguised themselves as ordinary people and used the excuse that they were doing business in Kanglang country at a heavy loss and could not continue, so they planned to come back. Chapter 40 Bring him back. But after the soldier walked around her, he seriously exposed her lie. Don't talk nonsense. No matter where our people go, their ID cards will not be forged. Since you said you are a native, where is your ID card? Let me see it. Leng Yu's smile froze, and she said awkwardly, my ID card, that, I accidentally lost it when I was in Kanglang country. We also took great pains to escape. Don't talk nonsense, these people must be spies. The soldier was too lazy to say a word to her, and directly had them driven out. Leng Yu was unwilling to give up, and quickly asked the followers beside her to change their appearance, and try again a few times, but no matter which direction they tried to inquire about the news from, they would be discovered by the other side in time. It was already dark. Leng Yu and 2 followers were making a fire in the nearby forest. He said to them gloomily, could it be that their strength has increased so fast that even we can see through it? The follower thought about it and suggested seriously, Master, if we can't find another place to enter, why don't we go to Yaozhang and buy a hidden aura pill at a high price? I heard that the pill can guarantee the efficacy of at least 1 month, which may help us get in. Yaozhang? They always sell things at a high price. If they knew that I urgently needed pills at this time, they would definitely raise the price. Leng Yu was a little unhappy. It's not that they haven't cooperated with Yaozhang before, but 20 years ago, Yaozhang didn't know what turmoil had happened. Later, when they asked them to refine pills, the price they offered would be much higher, even 3 or 4 times the market price outside. Leng Yu was unwilling to accept this, so he specially asked people to train alchemists in the country. However, the level of these alchemists was not enough, and many important pills still had to rely on Yaozhang. Over the years, I don't know how much money they have spent on them. But master, we have no other way. If we don't even have the chance to enter the border, how can we know what method they used to greatly improve their strength? The follower's words made sense. Leng Yu had no choice but to go to Yaozhang first and buy the hidden aura pills at a high price. As expected, it was almost the same as she imagined. The people of Yaozhang asked for a lot of money. Leng Yu could only hold back her anger and pay enough spirit stones to get 3 pills. She and the 2 followers each took one and went deep into the border. On the other side, Bao Yangchen had been out for 3 or 4 hours. He didn't know where the mysterious group came from. In addition, after the leader was kicked away by Teoti, he was soon found by his subordinates. They had a unique way to contact each other, but Bao Yangchen obviously did not have this strength. When they found that the boss was injured, those mysterious people would of course take him to a safer place to heal his injuries, and soon move to another place. Gao Yangchen had been walking around in the forest for a long time, but he still couldn't find the other party's trace. He was inevitably a little discouraged, but he remembered that he had been in the senior's internet cafe for so long, and he should at least learn a little more, so as not to let the senior think that he stayed there just to eat and drink for free and improve his strength. As a result, every time he encountered an important trial, he could not show his true strength and share the worries of the senior. If this goes on for a long time, wouldn't the senior have a problem with him? If he wants to continue studying here, it will be even more troublesome. Thinking of this, he became more determined and didn't care that it was already dark in the forest and continued to walk inside. Bai Luo had already had dinner with Ao Yangzu and Teoti, but seeing that the moon outside was about to rise, Bao Yangchen didn't seem to want to come back. After contacting him with the message talisman, he found that Ao Yangchen said that he had set up a simple sleeping bag for him and was now staying in the tree. Facing Bai Luo's suggestion, Bao Yangchen was unmoved. Don't worry senior. I will definitely come back after completing the mission. I will never make you worry. Please give me a little more time. I will be back in 2 days at most. No, you can't stay in the forest. Bai Luo had seen how dangerous the forest was when he went to collect firewood before. With Ao Yangchen's current cultivation level, if he stayed there at night, he would probably encounter a ferocious beast that would treat him as food. He hurriedly said to him seriously, I'll give you half an hour. Come back immediately, otherwise I can only let the little rabbit catch you back. Hurry up, senior. Seeing that he still wanted to refute, Bai Luo directly cut off the signal symbol and then picked up the little rabbit. Can you sense Yang Chen's breath? Teoti took 2 deep breaths and nodded immediately. After all, Yang Chen had been in contact with it a lot these days. As an ancient ferocious beast, its sense of smell was much more sensitive, and it could sense the breath within 100 miles. Okay, then you are responsible for finding him. If he resists, knock him out and bring him back. Don't let him stay alone in the woods at night. Teoti nodded and took action immediately. Gao Yangzu watched the little rabbit's movements and blinked at Bai Luo. How can you trust a little dog so much? After all, it's my brother in the woods. It would be so embarrassing for him to be dragged back by a dog. My brother will definitely be very unhappy if he knows. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR is the first to publish this novel. Although Yangzu didn't know why her father and the others asked her to conceal her identity in the internet cafe and not tell Bai Luo that they were the princes and princesses of the Imperial City, she had no choice but to listen to her father's instructions. Moreover, even if she wanted Ziotu to bring her brother back, her attitude should be gentle, right? How could she knock him out directly if her brother didn't agree? This is too wrong. Do you have a better way to bring him back? If so, go now. Don't you know how dangerous it is in the forest at night? The last time the Teoti rushed over, you didn't even have the ability to protect yourself. Who can guarantee that there is no beast more powerful than the Teoti in your collar? As soon as Bai Luo finished speaking, Gao Yangzu immediately wilted like an eggplant hit by frost and looked at him listlessly. I see, then let Ziotu go. Bring my brother back earlier and you can feel more at ease. That's better. Bai Luo waved his hand, asked Yangzu to pack up, and went to check the computer himself. Recently, there are many people playing games, and the flow of customers has been relatively stable, but he still has to pay attention to the operation of the computer every day. After all, many people are completely unfamiliar with computers, and problems often occur when playing games, which cannot affect his future way of making money. Chapter 41 Straight Confession. Teoti was very fast, and it rushed to where Yang Chen was in just a quarter of an hour. Seeing that he was sitting alone on the sleeping bag, looking at something with the light of the night pearl, he jumped directly onto the tree and grinned in the direction of Yang Chen. The meaning was very clear. Go back quickly, it's dangerous in this forest. Yang Chen saw him coming and quickly touched its head. Did the senior ask you to come? Don't worry, I will go back as soon as I find those people and deal with them. You go back first, okay? Teoti was not satisfied and barked at him several times in a row. Now it didn't dare to show its true strength in front of Yang Chen and the others. It didn't say a word, but just pulled Yang Chen's trouser leg, motioning him to leave quickly. Why are you so stubborn? I've already said it. I'll go back after I find someone. However, just after Yang Chen explained a few words, Teoti turned around and glared at him. It still remembered that when Bai Luo came out, he said that if Yang Chen didn't cooperate, he would be knocked out. It has been talked to him for so long just now. The meaning is very clear. Yang Chen is not willing to go back, right? In this case, don't blame it for taking action. Don't be like this. Yang Chen remembered that it was the little rabbit who brought him back the last time he was injured. He felt a little embarrassed when he was about to say a few words. To ease the awkward situation, Teoti suddenly raised his foot and kicked Yang Chen on the back of the head. Yang Chen felt a momentum like a mountain pressing down on his head. He was completely unable to resist the feeling of dizziness. A golden star flashed before his eyes, and he slowly fell on the sleeping bag. Teoti finally spoke in human language. Wouldn't it be better if you cooperated earlier? Otherwise, why would I knock you out? After saying this, he looked around and didn't find that Yang Chen had taken out anything except the sleeping bag. He folded the sleeping bag and held it in his mouth. He quickened the speed and carried Yang Chen back. Well done. Bai Luo praised Ziotu when he saw Yang Chen being carried back and then gave it some snacks that pets like to eat. Teoti is now very accustomed to it, and those things are good for replenishing its strength, so it no longer refuses, wagging its tail and eating very happily. Gao Yangchen was unconscious for 2 or 3 hours before he finally woke up. He found himself in a familiar room and sighed with a headache. At this moment, his head was still a little dizzy, so he could only lie back on the bed, and his mind began to wander. Senior suddenly asked Xiao to bring him back. He must think that he is not strong enough, right? He is not even as good as a dog. Although the little rabbit didn't speak, he knew that the little rabbit was definitely not just a dog. After all, it was incredibly strong. Even he could be knocked unconscious by it and brought back. It must have some kind of blood power that has not yet been activated. He felt more and more that he had been training in the internet cafe for so long, but his strength was still not as good as a dog. This was too depressing. He made up his mind secretly that he would continue to play games and improve his strength after he was completely sober. He must not let his predecessors look down on him. Gao Yangzu has also been in the internet cafe for several days and gradually became familiar with Bai Luo. At first, he thought he was a bit lustful, but recently he found that the look in his eyes when he looked at her was quite clean and clear, without any evil thoughts, but his strength was terrifyingly powerful. Occasionally when he was angry, Gao Yangzu didn't even dare to get close to him, for fear that he would accidentally leak his breath and shock her away. However, she seldom had the opportunity to have a close contact with such a man before. In addition, for such a long time, besides Yangchen, there was only one man beside her who she saw every day. Unconsciously, she became dependent on him. Because she was relatively young, no one had ever told her what it felt like to really like someone. Gao Yangzu felt that Bai Luo was a strong man who was worthy of her admiration, and she expressed her love for him very directly. That night, Gao Yangzu was even quite active in preparing a few dishes to eat with Bai Luo. Gao Yangchen ate very simply at night. He was shocked by Xiao Tu's strength before. He ate a little at night and continued to immerse himself in the game. At this moment, he was wearing headphones and was rushing in the game without sleep. He didn't notice the movement outside at all. Gao Yangzu personally picked up a chopstick of food for Bai Luo, supported her chin with one hand, and looked at him with a smile. "What do you think of me? Have we been getting along well recently?" "Not bad. I thought you were a delicate little girl before, but I didn't expect you to do well in the internet cafe. Come on, I'm optimistic about you." Gao Yangzu is the opposite sex he has been in contact with the longest, since he came to this different world. Although he had experienced many blunders before, Bai Luo now thinks she is a good person. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel for the first time. Although she seems to be born with a high birth, since she discovered the benefits of the internet cafe, she has been very active in arranging things for her, so she naturally has a good impression of her. "I think I'm pretty good too." Gao Yangzu smiled. "My father and brother said before that you are a very trustworthy person. We have been together for so long, and I think you are pretty good. If you don't mind, let's try it together. Find an opportunity. Let's go back to the Imperial City and let my father preside over our wedding, okay? My mother should like you too." Gao Yangzu only remembered that her mother said that the man she was going to marry in the future must be a strong man and must not bully her. She felt that Bai Luo was very clean around him and he would not have contact with other women except for guests. After so long, he had never seen his wife and children, and he must be unmarried. That's enough. He is handsome, very powerful, and has no wife, which is good enough. Gao Yangzu doesn't care about the power behind him. Anyway, she thinks he is so powerful that he can show his skills even without the help of his family. Moreover, the internet cafe is such a great place. If they are together, it will be convenient for brothers and sisters to come here for trials. Isn't this killing two birds with one stone? I believe that his mother will be very satisfied to know that she has found such a powerful husband, right? Are you kidding? Bai Luo was choking and coughing. Gao Yangzu was quite enthusiastic. She pushed a glass of juice to him and frowned. How am I kidding? I know I'm still a little young now, but because of an accident before, haven't I grown up now? Don't worry, my father admires you very much and mentioned it to me before. I think you are very good too. If you think I'm not yet of age and you can't accept it in your heart, we can arrange the marriage first and become engaged couples. We can get married when I reach the age. What do you think? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42, Helping to Match. The more Iangzu thought about it, the more she felt that such an excellent man should be caught in her hands earlier. Otherwise, if he met more beautiful women in the future, he might not notice her. No. Bai Luo shook his head vigorously. Although he felt that Iangzu's straightforward confession was actually quite touching, he never thought of being a beast and quickly refused. My attitude towards you and other women is similar, not to mention that I'm more familiar with your brother and I can be regarded as half a sister. You are still young and don't understand the love between men and women. Don't talk about such things in the future. Why don't I understand? I can learn. I said, we can arrange the marriage first, and when I'm old enough, we can talk about the wedding. I'm not in a hurry. Gao Yangzu explained anxiously. Gao Yangchen finished a round of games and went to the bathroom, but found that the senior was arguing with his sister and mentioned the wedding, engagement and other things. Seeing Xiaoxu's look, he immediately understood a little. But why does the senior look so forced? He thinks Xiaoxu is pretty good. She is of noble birth and the youngest daughter of the emperor. She will definitely be included in the dowry in the future. And although Xiaoxu is a little spoiled, there are no big problems in other aspects. Isn't she also very active in the senior's internet cafe? She is always scrambling to do all kinds of work. Bai Luo was forced by Iangzu and had no choice but to stand up. I really haven't thought about getting married, and I only treat you as a little sister. Don't say anything. Let's stop here. After that, he fled back to the room. Gao Yangchen touched his chin, thinking that Bai Luo was trying to refuse. That day, after returning to his separate space magic weapon to rest, he rarely called over his subordinates who had been arranged nearby recently. The subordinate knelt down in front of him in fear. What do you want, Your Highness? Do you know that there is a kind of... Gao Yangchen had never done such a thing before, and was a little embarrassed. He hesitated for a long time before speaking. Is there a medicine that can help men and women have sex? It's for men. He thought that Xiaoxu should have a good impression of the senior, and if the senior took the initiative, Xiaoxu would not refuse. As long as it turned out well, he believed that as a responsible and good man, the senior would definitely be willing to marry Xiaoxu. This is a good thing. That kills two birds with one stone. This, of course, the knowledgeable subordinate replied calmly. Your Highness, do you need to use it yourself? No, I'm not using it. Anyway, I'm not using it to do bad things. I just want to bring the two of us together. You can find a way to get some of this medicine, but the effect can't be too strong. Don't hurt the woman. Do you understand what I mean? When the subordinate heard it, he immediately understood that the prince wanted to help the woman who had a good relationship with him to have sex. It seems that this woman has a special relationship with His Highness. Someone as official and upright as His Highness actually thought about using medicine to help others accomplish good things. However, as a subordinate, he must obey His Highness's orders and quickly selected several medicines. Gao Yangchen was almost stunned and looked at him embarrassedly. Do you still carry this medicine with you? Your Highness, this is what the master asked you to prepare before you came out. Of course, Your Highness may not need it, but you can take a look at which one you want to use. As he said that, the subordinate calmly told him the usage and time of various medicines. Finally, Gao Yangchen chose the medicine in one of the red bottles. This is pretty good, right? You said it tastes sweet, and it shouldn't be discovered if you put it in food or drinks. Yes, but this medicine is a bit strong. I'm afraid it needs to be mixed with more food, otherwise it might hurt Your Highness's female friend. Gao Yangchen's ears were about to burn, and he said quickly, well, I'll find a way to let them eat more and try to dilute the effect of the medicine. Okay, you can leave first. The subordinate nodded and soon disappeared like a shadow. The next day, after the internet cafe closed, Bao Yangchen deliberately helped to pack up. Seeing that the sun was about to set, he flew to the forest as fast as possible and shot a few black deer known for their delicious meat. After returning, he greeted Bai Luo enthusiastically. Senior, Xiaoxu said a few days ago that she wanted to eat barbecue. I happen to have some back. Should we make some together? It's quite easy. I know how to make it. Really? Barbecue? It's true that I haven't eaten it for a while. I have a grill here. I'll make it for you. Bai Luo nodded. No need, senior. This black deer is quite big. I have a rack here. Let me do it. Gao Yangchen said, and took out an iron rack with a diameter of about 10 feet long and wide from his storage bag. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel. After being out of the trial for so long, he is not completely incompetent. He is very skilled in cleaning and skinning, and he quickly finished processing a black deer. He stuffed a lot of seasonings into the internal organs, saying that the meat would be more fragrant when grilled this way. Bai Luo trusted him quite a bit and didn't think much about it. He went in and continued to look at the computer. While there was no one around, Bao Yangchen quickly took out the medicine given to him by his subordinates, thought about it, and put it in the seasoning dish next to him. He knew that Xiaoxu would not do things like barbecue and would not come to help later. He just needed to be careful and let the senior eat the food specially added with seasoning. However, he underestimated the firmness of the black deer's meat. After roasting for half an hour, only a little bit of the meat on the surface was cooked, and the inside was still raw. Smelling the aroma of barbecue, the little rabbit kept drooling beside it. Seeing that it looked so greedy, Bai Luo took the initiative to wave to Ao Yangchen. Cut off a hind leg for me. I will make some for the little rabbit first. You see, it is so greedy. He was worried that the dog would attack people in the future after eating too much raw meat. Recently, he often fed the little rabbit dog food. Even if he wanted to eat meat, he would cook it. He didn't dare to let the little rabbit eat those bloody things. Ao Yangchen thought about it, and he would be fine if he watched from the side, so he agreed. Bai Luo set up an electric grill nearby and sliced the hind leg meat into several smaller pieces and put them together. Soon, a fragrant smell wafted in the air. He walked to the seasoning area, picked up the bottle of seasoning powder that Ao Yangchen had just put in the seasoning, and asked, "What is this for? It smells quite fragrant and has a sweet taste." "This is flavor enhancer powder." Ao Yangchen's eyes rolled around, and he asked Senior, "You are not going to feed this to the little rabbit, are you?" Chapter 43, Good intentions lead to bad results. It doesn't need it, just eat the original flavor. The flavor enhancer powder, right? I'll use this myself. It will take a while for your big piece to cook. I'll eat some of the food next to it first, and you and Xiaoxu will come over to eat later. Ao Yangchen nodded quickly. As long as it's not for the little rabbit, it shouldn't be a problem. However, they all underestimated the gluttony. Ao Yangchen stood for a long time and was a little tired, so he went to get a stool. Bai Luo just cut a part of what he was going to eat and put it aside, intending to roast it separately. After all, the little rabbit is a dog. There is really no need for it to eat something with such a strong taste. It's better to let humans satisfy its appetite. However, the glutton next to it has already been greedy, especially the smell of this medicine, which is very obvious to the glutton with a natural keen sense of smell. Seeing that the 2 plates of barbecued meat were ready, Bai Luo asked the little rabbit to eat 2 pieces, and Ao Yangchen was still seriously competing with the big guy in front of him. At this time, Ao Yangzu inside shouted to the outside, "Bai Luo, come in quickly, there are some things that need to be replenished." Ao Yangzu was not as polite as Ao Yangchen and kept calling him by his name directly, but Bai Luo didn't care. Being called senior all the time, he thought he had aged a lot and walked in with the skewers of meat. Ao Yangchen didn't notice it, and when he saw Bai Luo leaving, the little rabbit immediately stretched out its claws, quickly snatched the barbecue on his plate, and began to eat it. It was very fast, and when Bai Luo came out, he found that the meat on the plate had been eaten up and sighed helplessly. Teoti didn't know what he had accidentally eaten because of his greed. Now there was no meat on the plate, so he quietly waited for the portion that Yang Chen was about to roast and strolled in the yard. What Bai Luo didn't know was that even if he took some of the medicine, it would be useless. It would only indirectly enhance the energy inside, but it would not make him beastly. However, Teoti was not as lucky as him. His body had been transformed by the system and was completely different from that of ordinary people. The effect of the medicine could not be exerted. But after taking it, Teoti walked around and felt that his whole body was about to burn. An extremely uncomfortable feeling spread from his chest to his danshan. Teoti had experienced distress before, so he naturally knew what was going on. Although he didn't know what caused it, he still rushed into the forest, worried that if he went crazy outside, he would hurt the people in the internet cafe, which would be a big sin. As a fierce beast with ancient blood, after it escaped from Bai Luo's barrier, the power in its body quickly flowed out, regardless of the actions of all the female fierce beasts around it, and the movement in the forest was a bit loud. Leng Yu and the others finally managed to hide their whereabouts with the help of the elixir they bought at a high price before, and escaped. Unexpectedly, when they were wandering around outside, the map actually gave them the wrong direction and they walked into the forest by mistake. The further Leng Yu walked inside, the more she felt that the pressure inside was quite strong. Even someone with her cultivation level couldn't stand it. The two followers beside her were even weaker than her. At this moment, they could only wear their most powerful magic weapons. They carefully watched the movements around them, fearing that a powerful big guy would suddenly rush out and attack them. The movement of Teoti shocked the female beasts beside him, and they hurriedly fled. Leng Yu was at least a master close to the giant period, and the aura on her body was already very obvious. Teoti's eyes were red at this moment due to the stimulation of the drug. He didn't care whether he was facing a human or a beast. He found that the human woman in front of him had a smell that attracted him, so he knocked her out without caring, carried her up, and flew back to his cave. The followers were dumbfounded and hurriedly chased after her. However, the gap in strength between Leng Yu and Teoti was too big, and since he was in a coma, he was no match for it, and it succeeded. After an unknown amount of time, the effect of the drug in Teoti's body was finally almost exhausted by himself. At this moment, he felt sore and weak in his limbs, and hurriedly flew towards the internet cafe with the last bit of strength. Yang Chen never expected that his plan would fail. Seeing that the senior had finished several plates of barbecue, but still had no reaction, he could only urge Yang Zhu to accompany the senior. At least when the drug took effect, Xiaoxu was the only woman beside the senior who could help them accomplish good things. But in the second half of the night, Yang Zhu fell asleep, and there was no sign of the drug taking effect. Yang Chen was extremely frustrated. He didn't expect that the senior's strength was so strong that even the drug couldn't help Xiaoxu. What should he do? Yang Chen felt very frustrated. It seemed that he could only rely on Xiaoxu's charm in the future. He really couldn't help her with her and the senior's affairs. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar published this novel for the first time. Bai Luo had never seen Xiao to run so far from the internet cafe before, but the movement in the forest just now was so loud that even he noticed it. A red light suddenly rose up in the sky, but he didn't find a very fierce fight, which made him a little puzzled. After Teoti vented the effect of the drug, he dragged his body back, but he was already weak and powerless, lying on the steps for a long time and couldn't move. Fortunately, Bai Luo's perception of the outside world is now quite sensitive, and he has been in contact with Xiao for so long, so he naturally knows the information on it. Hearing a faint breathing sound coming from outside, he hurried out and saw Xiao lying on the ground with drooping eyelids and twitching all over his body, looking extremely weak. "What's wrong with you? Did you eat something wrong?" He quickly picked up the little rabbit. But after checking its whole body and smelling the strange smell, Bai Luo's expression was very strange. "You are so young, but you can still do such a thing. You are really a beast. You don't care about your face." Teoti was now drowsy and couldn't understand what he was scolding. He slowly fainted. After more than an hour, until the sky gradually brightened, Teoti suddenly woke up from his sleep. Suddenly remembering what happened last night, he felt ashamed of himself. But he didn't know that he was in a frenzy last night, and his crazy behavior actually attracted strange phenomena in the world. Some surrounding forces noticed the movement in the forest and began to arrange people to come and check. Chapter 44. In-depth investigation. Len Yu woke up after a long time. She found that her clothes were torn to pieces all around her. She even had marks that only animals would have. She was so ashamed and angry that she wanted to die. After all, she was the emperor of Kangalang country. When had she ever suffered such an injustice? For many years, she was arrogant and thought that with her status, her future husband should be a talented person. She never thought that she would be bullied by an animal. She wanted to cut that bastard into pieces last night. But in order to find out the secret and who had done it to her, she could only endure it. After using her unique secret technique to call the two followers over, she changed her clothes very calmly and asked them to lead her to a flatter place. The followers felt that Len Yu didn't know what she had experienced last night. Now her breath became colder than before, but they were very careful and didn't dare to say anything for fear of irritating her. Bai Luo didn't know what Teoti was thinking now. He thought that Teoti liked the dog food prepared for it before and guessed that humans should be the same. Although most of the things provided by the system are rich in energy, he feels that those things have no technical content. Moreover, they are all provided by the system and they have to be replenished by the system in time. The cost of this round trip is not small. However, if he can only buy some simple rice, vegetables, seasonings, etc., and make them into rice bowls after secondary processing, then he can not only increase his income, but also reduce costs, which is a win-win situation. He did it as soon as he said, and started to get busy. The system is responsible for providing him with materials, and is quite supportive of his idea. However, Bai Luo has never cooked seriously before. Even if he ate in the internet cafe before, most of them were directly provided by the system, or Yang Chen and his brother and sister took turns to cook. The two of them are considered to be somewhat talented, and the rice they cook is not bad. Sometimes he is lazy and just eats all kinds of self-heating foods, or let the system prepare some hot pot and dry pot base for him, and all kinds of vegetables can be fried and boiled in the pot to solve the food for the day. This time he was seriously planning to make rice bowls to attract more customers and increase income, and he was very serious about it. But he had never cooked seriously before, and the dish he made for the first time was quite terrible. The system clearly thought that the materials it provided were of high quality, so how come they turned out like this in the hands of the host? He couldn't help but complain at the side. Host, did you do something wrong? Go ask Yang Chen and the others. How do you usually cook? Isn't it just adding some oil, some seasonings, and cooking it? How did you make it like this? When Bai Luo brought out a plate of black stuff just now, the system was stunned. I never expected that the host who did other things quite smoothly would cook so horribly. This is what people often call dark cuisine, right? Who would dare to eat it like this? Yang Chen and the others smelled a burnt smell and thought that there was something wrong with the computer, so they hurried over. As a result, they saw Bai Luo standing in the kitchen with a dusty face. Yang Chen leaned over to look at the black food on the plate and asked Senior, "Is this what you made for the little rabbit?" "No, I was planning to make it into a rice bowl for the guests, but it seems to be a bit of a failure the first time I made it." Bai Luo was a little disappointed, but he was embarrassed to let Yang Chen and the others do it. After all, it was already hard for them to work in the internet cafe and clean up, and if they were asked to cook, wouldn't they have to pay higher wages? He couldn't bear it. "Senior, let me do it. I'll make whatever you want to eat right away," Yang Chen said, and was ready to start. "Forget it." He waved his hand and called the little rabbit over. "Can you try it? I think it may be that I was a little angry just now. In fact, the food is still edible. Your digestive function should be good. Why don't you try it?" Although the little rabbit thought that the food Bai Luo had given it before tasted good and had a very obvious energy enhancing effect, it really didn't dare to eat this black thing. What if something like last night was added? Wouldn't it be even worse? It didn't want its reputation to be ruined. It whimpered a few times and quickly retreated. The smell was so strange that it was no different from poison. Forget it. It seems that I really don't have the talent for cooking. I'd better not cook it in the future, so as not to scare others. Bai Luo said, and poured all the rice bowls into the trash can, and asked Yang Chen and the others to do other things. Leng Yu suppressed her anger, and continued to walk according to the instructions on the map. She also spent money to find some people on the road and finally asked about the specific scope of the Imperial City. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel for the first time. However, as soon as she entered, she felt the pressure around her was quite obvious, and the protective barrier here was much tighter than the last time she came. The last time she came was at least 10 years ago. At that time, she only felt that the atmosphere here was not much different from their Kangalang country. But this time, she found that even a random ordinary citizen would be stronger than the soldiers of their Kangalang country, and she couldn't help but be extremely shocked. She asked the attendant beside her, has anything happened here in these years? How does the Yang dynasty usually treat the people? Master, it's no different from before. The attendant was no less shocked than she was. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they really couldn't imagine that the people here have become so powerful now. If the two sides really broke out in a war, any civilian they picked out would be more powerful than the soldiers of their Kangalang country. Do they still have to fight this war? They will definitely lose miserably. Then what's going on? I think the auras on them are very strange. And you see, the woman in green clothes has a rare bloodline, which can be used to practice several kinds of elemental skills. And that one, you see there is a cyclone on his head. You can tell at a glance that he is practicing with Yuan Qi, and his family background is not low. When did there become so many masters in this Imperial City? Leng Yu looked around in surprise, but at this moment she was just hiding her aura from Kangalang country, and she didn't have an identity card here, and she had a hard time getting in just now. Seeing someone asking about them, everyone was very alert, and no one answered her. Leng Yu had no choice but to go to a nearby tea house with a large flow of people. There were many people there, and she should be able to deal with some people with her charm, so she must get something. Chapter 45. See for yourself. Leng Yu is a ruler of a country after all. She has been practicing charm for many years and the effect is considerable. In addition, there is a lot of traffic nearby, so it is easy to perform. Dear guests, please come in. Do you want to drink tea or have a meal? Our shop has everything. The shop assistant came forward to greet them enthusiastically. Please bring 2 pots of good tea and some of your special snacks, Leng Yu said, and after looking at the price list next to her, she sent some silver over. Although it is in the Imperial City now, some small shops can still use gold and silver for circulation. Spiritual stones can also be used, but they are all low quality. Leng Yu felt that there was no need to waste spiritual stones in such a place. Anyway, she has no shortage of gold and silver, so she can use them casually. Seeing that she was very generous, the assistant smiled more enthusiastically and hurriedly sent them to a good position near the window on the 2nd floor and ran all the way to bring them good tea. Leng Yu and the 2 followers beside her have good looks and temperament. Although they have hidden their aura in such a place, the most abundant thing is courage. When they found out that the 3 people were all women, someone immediately came forward to ask enthusiastically, "You 3 girls look unfamiliar. Is this your first time here? If you don't mind, you can share a table with us. There are many people, and it will be more lively to eat together." She glanced at the bearded man in front of her, and a flash of disgust flashed across her eyes, but she quickly suppressed it, silently reciting the spell in her heart and performing the charm. Soon, the man's eyes fell directly on her, and he moved a stool and sat next to her with a flattering look on his face. "Girls, you are new here, right? If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Apart from anything else, I, Liu Laoa, am the most well-informed and a well-known gossiper among our brothers." "I see. In that case, I won't be polite. I'm indeed new to this land with my 2 sisters, and don't know much about everything here. I heard that the strength of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince has greatly improved a while ago, and he has also gone to several other countries to discuss some things." The people around were not far away from Leng Yu, and were all within the range of her charm. Seeing her eyes moving, those people immediately told her all the news they knew. Miss, you are right. A distant relative of mine works in the palace. I heard that there was a big commotion in the palace before. Fortunately, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and the other princes came back in time and successfully rescued our emperor. It's strange to say that His Royal Highness the Crown Prince was only at the foundation building stage a few months ago, but he became so powerful after going out. It's really incredible. Miss, you haven't been to an internet cafe yet? Another man came up and looked at her flatteringly. Internet cafes are great places. If it weren't for the high fees, I could spend 12 hours a day there. Internet cafes? What kind of place is that? I've never heard of it. Len Yu smiled and continued to get information. There were also people with slightly better family conditions who had been to internet cafes before. Hearing her ask this, he immediately became interested and started chatting with her eagerly. The internet cafe was opened by a senior. I heard that it is the most powerful trial site in our Imperial City. A while ago, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and the other princes made such a huge improvement in strength because they tried there for a period of time. We also went to see it. But we don't have much money, so we can't stay there all the time. Through their mouths, Len Yu became more and more curious about the internet cafe. Because she checked carefully, it was obvious that those who had been to the internet cafe were much stronger than others. Obviously, their spiritual roots were similar, but their skills were different. It was probably because they had trained with Wang Bei that they were like this. After asking them about the location of the internet cafe, she was ready to go and see it in person. She must find out about the place that allowed our Yang Chen and others to make such a huge improvement in strength in a short period of time. Maybe she can win them over to use them in the future. After using these people, Len Yu didn't plan to waste time on them. She packed up the things on the table with 2 followers and walked towards the internet cafe. But as the sun got brighter, the further she walked, the more she felt a strange force in her body begin to spread to her limbs, and it all flowed out slowly from her danshan. She was very confused and asked the 2 followers beside her, could it be that this place is helpful to our cultivation? Do you feel that your strength has improved? The 2 followers looked at each other and shook their heads in unison. No, master, did you eat something before that led to such an adventure? I didn't eat anything, Len Yu answered subconsciously, but when she thought of what happened in the forest before, her face changed immediately. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar released this novel for the first time. These days, she and the 2 followers eat and live together. Except for going to the store in the Imperial City today to inquire about the news, all the food they ate before was what they prepared in Kanglang country. If there is any change in her, it is what happened in the cave that night. Unexpectedly, after that damn guy bullied her, her strength was enhanced. Len Yu felt very ashamed. However, as the ruler of a country, she had absolute expectations for strength. Even though what happened at that time made her feel very disgusted, in order to enhance her own strength, she secretly looked forward to whether there would be other adventures that could help her strength go further. In order to find out the relevant situation nearby, several people deliberately did not use flying magic weapons and walked all the way to the outside of the internet cafe. They found that the building in front looked very strange, and it was different from any country she had seen before. Len Yu took a deep breath, explained a few words to the 2 followers, and then used the transformation pill to simply change her face and figure. At this moment, she was still a beautiful woman, but not as stunning as her real body. After taking out the mirror and looking at it, she nodded with satisfaction, and then walked calmly to the door of the internet cafe. Bai Luo was just moving a chair to watch the outside noise. When he saw the 3 girls coming, he immediately greeted them warmly. Is this your first time here? Are you here to surf the internet? What games do you like? This is our first time here, so we don't know much about it. Are you the owner of this place? Introduce yourself to us. Len Yu asked. Yes, I'm the owner here, Bai Luo said, and quickly let them in. Chapter 46, Unlocking Bloodline. Although Len Yu didn't know what the boss meant, she still accepted the offer without hesitation. Then please ask the boss to recommend something for us. My sisters and I are new here. We heard that this internet cafe is very good, so we came here to see it. With Bai Luo's current cultivation, he could see through Lang Yu's disguise at a glance and knew what she really looked like, but he didn't think much about it. After all, there are bad people in every world. The other party is so beautiful and there are only 2 female followers around her. It is normal for her to dress up in a more ordinary way because she is worried about being targeted. He led them to the 3 connected computers next to them. After turning on the computers, Bai Luo recommended several games that are very popular among women recently. After instructing them on how to play, he also opened the video for them. He introduced, "This game is the most basic. If you like it, you can try it first. There is a price list on it, and you can pay with spirit stones. What's your name? I'll register for you in front of you. My name is Lengzin." She randomly picked a fake name. "Miss Leng, right? Okay, sit down first. If you want to eat anything, I'll prepare it for you." Leng Yu glanced at the price list on the wall and ordered the cheapest bottle of mineral water. After Bai Luo brought it to her, Leng Yu accidentally touched his fingertips as soon as she took the mineral water from him. His majestic aura immediately flowed into Leng Yu through skin contact. She was almost stunned. She felt as if an electric current passed through her palm. She trembled unconsciously twice. She sat stiffly on the sofa chair and looked at him in surprise. This man looked like he was only in his early 20s. Why did he have such a powerful ability? Where did the other party come from? "Miss, what's wrong with you? Is this position inappropriate?" Bai Luo was very confused. Why did this man look like he had seen a ghost? "No, it's just, the young master looks very advanced." Leng Yu subconsciously inquired. "No, I just know some ordinary little spells. Girl, play first. If you have any questions, come to me. I'm in front." Seeing his indifferent expression, Leng Yu barely suppressed the shock in her heart and quickly retracted her gaze, pretending to watch the video seriously, but her eyes drifted to Bai Luo from time to time. Teotihuacan's way of cultivation is really a bit enviable. Although when it first came here, the slight pressure from Bai Luo's body made it difficult for it to breathe, but recently it has stayed here for a long time, and Bai Luo has fed it a lot of energy containing things. Now its cultivation speed is not only much faster than before, but it can also move freely in the internet cafe. It is also very calm in Bai Luo's arms, and no longer has to worry about its difficulty breathing. Moreover, Gao Yangzu and the others have always been very tolerant of Teoti. As long as it doesn't mess around outside and doesn't bite people, they don't care if it stays next to any machine and watches other people's operations. After all, Teoti is an ancient beast, and it has lived for so many years, so it is naturally very clean and hygienic. It never makes faces everywhere like ordinary puppies, and it is always clean, which makes Bai Luo and the others very satisfied. Teoti was wagging its tail and walking slowly. When Leng Yu saw it, she came back to her senses. She didn't expect that it was such an ugly dog that bullied her. Leng Yu's face changed. She has been practicing hard day and night for these years, but she didn't expect that one day even a dog would dare to ride on her head. She narrowed her eyes slightly, pressed her fingers on her Kyankan bag, and was about to find a powerful magic weapon to kill this ignorant wild dog directly, but Teoti suddenly turned around. As if he noticed Leng Yu's unfriendly look at him, he growled at her with a fierce look in his eyes. People who often come to the internet cafe are very familiar with Teoti. When they see it coming, they reach out to it. "Little rabbit, come and give me a hug. Don't yell at the girl, you'll scare her. Come here, I have a lot of delicious snacks." In the eyes of other guests, the little rabbit is almost like a mascot. After all, it is very obedient and quiet, and never messes up. When they see them playing their favorite games, they can still watch them attentively beside them. It is obvious that they have spiritual intelligence. Leng Yu was stunned by Teoti's look. She gently put her hand back on the mousepad and winked at the 2 followers. Even the breath of a dog is so strong. No wonder she was bullied by it that day and couldn't resist. But Leng Yu is a person with great perseverance. It doesn't matter if she doesn't have the opportunity to deal with it directly at this time. As long as she stays here, she will have enough time and opportunities. She quickly calmed down. After completing the game guide, she carefully looked at the various posters on the wall and quickly figured out the business model here. Afterwards, He very happily asked her followers to go over and pay a lot of spirit stones, wanting to try whether this method of getting a trial in the game is useful. For many years, Leng Yu has never stopped practicing in Kanglang country. After all, she is also the ruler of a country, and her own blood strength is not weak. Although she has not yet reached the golden elixir period, she is not old and has room for continuous growth in the future. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar first published this novel. However, although most people in Kanglang country have different blood attributes after birth, they are generally more mixed. If you want to practice different attributes of the exercises, you need to constantly remove those impurities, and finally only 1 to 3 are left. She started with a gold bloodline, and occasionally when she was training outside, she could turn stones into gold and fool people with lower levels than her. Originally, she didn't have much confidence in this game trial method, but after playing a game, she felt that her body was full of strength. Even the cheapest bottle of water she bought made her feel moisturized from the inside out, and she felt that her body had never been so light. As if she had been given a shot of chicken blood. Leng Yu played the game for an hour straight, and she actually felt that her blood strength had become much stronger than before. After carefully probing into her dungeon to check, she found that next to the original golden bead, there was actually another green one, which seemed to be a wood-attributed blood. Her eyes widened in shock. She had never thought that she would have such a great change in such a short time. She checked it back and forth several times, her eyes shining with surprise. The two followers also made different degrees of progress, but not as obvious as her. Seeing her so excited, after carefully asking about Leng Yu's current changes, they were even more looking forward to this internet cafe. They had never experienced such a smooth cultivation. It had only been a short time, and it felt like they had improved a small realm. If she stayed here for 10 days or half a month, wouldn't she become one of the best masters in the country? Chapter 47. Enemies meet on a narrow road. Gao Yangchen was also playing games at this moment. Recently, he was addicted to a game that required testing the team's combat ability. Bai Luo had also introduced it to him, thinking that he would be able to use it in the future, and he had recently often invited people nearby. He found that, although Leng Yu looked unfamiliar, her game operation skills were very sharp. Although it was Leng Yu's first time playing games today, she was able to get the hang of it quickly, because she was quite capable, and had been strictly trained before. After watching her operation, Bao Yangchen politely stepped forward to invite her. Leng Yu had taken the elixir that could change her appearance. Gao Yangchen did not recognize her at first, and thought that they were all from the same country, so he took the initiative to ask, "Miss, can you team up with me and play this new game with me? I see that you are quite capable, and the effect may be better if we team up." "Okay, if you don't mind, then I'm willing to join you." Leng Yu looked at him carefully, not noticing any strange expression on Ao Yangchen's face. She was immediately delighted. She was just worried about not being able to find an opportunity to get into the inner circle, and it would be best if she could gain Ao Yangchen's trust. After all, he is Ao Yang Fuming's biological son, and it is very likely that he will take the position of the emperor in the future. If she can find out the most confidential things, she won't have to arrange so many people to come in the future. The more she thought about it, the happier she became. She decided to be a spy beside Ao Yangchen and find out everything she wanted. Although Teoti did not recognize Leng Yu, he was much more vigilant. When Leng Yu was teaming up with Ao Yangchen, he would look at his combat skills from time to time, and it was obvious that he was stealing them. Teoti saw that something was wrong with her, and took advantage of the fact that there were fewer guests at lunchtime, most of whom went out to eat, and went straight to Ao Yangchen. In order to facilitate teaming, Leng Yu and his team specially changed a few computers, and now they happened to be sitting in the same row with Ao Yangchen and his team. Teoti sat in front of Leng Yu, raised his head, and called out to her, and actually spoke in human language. "Who are you? We have never seen you here before. Also, when we were fighting in a team just now, you kept staring at Ao Yangchen's combat situation. Are you trying to learn from him?" Leng Yu had never thought that a dog could actually speak, and her eyes widened in shock. But she still subconsciously retorted, "How did I learn from him? Isn't it normal for me to see his combat situation when we are in a team? In case he needs blood or something, I can help him. She was playing a role similar to an auxiliary nurse at the moment. Her combat skills were not as good as Yang Chen's. Of course, she also wanted to take this opportunity to see what his powerful strength was like, so she specially chose a role that was not particularly eye-catching, but she didn't expect that a dog would actually see through it. Stop fooling around. Yang Chen didn't notice NI, but I saw it clearly from the side. You just took out a magic weapon that can record videos and recorded all of Yang Chen's combat skills, right? What exactly do you want to do? Are you a spy sent by other countries? Len Yu was caught off guard by Toyota's questioning and slowly stopped. Yang Chen also finished this game, crossed his arms, and looked at her vigilantly. Where are you from? I haven't seen you before. After all, he is also the prince of his country. He has been to many places over the years, and the brains of cultivators are quite developed. He has probably seen hundreds of thousands of people over the years. Even if he can't match the name of that person at the moment, he can remember the appearance. But this woman, he didn't notice it just now, but now he looks at it carefully, and it's really quite unfamiliar. You can't speak, right? Tell the truth. Where are you from? Otherwise, don't blame us for expelling you. Toyota continued to question. Len Yu was almost pissed off. She finally found an opportunity to team up with Yang Chen, but she didn't expect it to be ruined by a dog. She remembered that she was bullied by him that day, and in a rage, she asked what happened that night. How dare you tell me this? My two sisters and I just arrived here a few days ago, but you knocked us out and took us to the cave when we passed through the forest at night. Tell me, did you arrange all this a long time ago? After saying that, she didn't care that Yang Chen was still sitting next to her, and she lifted up her shirt directly, revealing the dog paw prints on her waist, with a fierce look in her eyes. Did you do this? I thought you looked very familiar just now. You, a dog, actually did such a thing. Don't think that you can bully others just because my cultivation is lower than yours. Who gave you such courage? Yang Chen was almost stunned and couldn't help but flick Toyota's head. What are you doing? She's a girl. How can you bully her? Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus underscore. Toyota instantly remembered what he had eaten by mistake that day and what happened in the forest, and he was very embarrassed. If it was just something that happened between him and other female beasts, it would be fine. But how could there be a human being? Until now, it has not completely transformed. If it really happened to her in the form of a dog, it would be really embarrassing. If the other brothers knew about it, they would laugh at it for 10,000 years. Toyota was very embarrassed and refused to admit it. Don't talk nonsense. Although I can talk, I'm so small now. How can I bully you? You must have been bitten by other dogs and deliberately framed me, right? What a joke. Len Yu made it clear that he was going to settle the account with him and directly called Bai Luo over. What happened? Bai Luo was confused. It was fine just now. Why did the little rabbit suddenly speak and quarrel with this woman? Len Yu knew that this man's cultivation was stronger than hers and his strength should not be underestimated. She briefly described what happened that night, but did not dare to explain how Toyota harmed her. She asked coldly, "Boss, shouldn't you take good care of your dog? Don't think that it can bully people just because it is strong. The marks on my body have not disappeared yet. Could it be sick? If it infects me, who should take care of this matter? Little rabbit, did you really do this?" Bai Luo lifted Toyota's neck and hung it in the air. He was embarrassed to see clearly what was wrong with Len Yu's injuries and just glanced at Yang Chen. Seeing him nod, Bai Luo stretched out his hand and put a beast controlling ring on Toyota's neck and then apologized to Len Yu. "Miss, I'm really sorry. The little rabbit has only been with me for a short time. Maybe I didn't teach it well. If you feel unwell in the future, just tell me. I will bear all the medical expenses and will not let you suffer." Chapter 48. Prepare to stay. Toyota looked at him weakly and cried out again. He didn't expect Bai Luo to be so cruel. He thought he was very nice to him before, but he changed in the blink of an eye. Humans are indeed the most fickle guys. But after all, it was a little animal that had been with them for a long time. Bai Luo couldn't bear it. He had no choice but to scold the little rabbit just now. Who knew that it would go crazy after eating barbecue and running into the woods? Fortunately, the girl's injury was not serious. If it bit other people, it would be troublesome. Who knows that there are no bacteria on it? If it infects people with rabies, I don't know if there is any medicine in this era that can cure the disease. Thinking of this, he snorted coldly and no longer had a good face for Teoti and nodded to Leng Yu. Girl, you don't have to care about it. Let it reflect on itself. If it didn't really make a big mistake, I wouldn't punish it. I see, boss. Let me talk to it. You go and have a rest. Leng Yu looked very considerate. Bai Luo nodded and didn't think much about it. He didn't see that Leng Yu's energy fluctuations were stronger than his, so he naturally knew that she was not a very powerful master and didn't need to worry. However, Gao Yangzu was jealous because Bai Luo not only entertained Leng Yu seriously, but also beat up the rabbit because she was bitten by the rabbit. She followed all the way. When she found that the rabbit was lying on the ground dying, Leng Yu even took medicine for it. She ran to find Bai Luo angrily. Frowning, he asked, "Are you planning to keep that girl here? What are you doing? Isn't it enough that my brother and I can help you watch the internet cafe? You hired several other employees here a few days ago. Although Bai Luo hired those people as part-timers, he still paid them wages. Usually, they were only needed to help watch the internet cafe when it was busy. At other times, they were enough." Gao Yangzu thought, why do we need so many people to waste resources? After all, she was bitten by the little rabbit. Isn't it normal for me to let her observe here? What if the little rabbit carries some virus and the girl is infected? It will be more troublesome in the future. Bai Luo retorted. After all, he really knows a little about medicine. He can't even recognize all the medicinal materials, let alone treat others. Let the girl stay here for a few more days, and he can feel more at ease. If there is anything, he can also ask the system. After Leng Yu had a feeling exchange with Teoti, she barely suppressed the resentment of being bullied before, and then carried it into the internet cafe, asking to play the game for a while longer. Bai Luo did not refuse. After playing for a few more hours, she once again felt the huge changes that the game brought to her. After carefully communicating with the two followers using secret techniques, she walked to the front bar. Bai Luo greeted her. "Girl, you and the two people next to you should settle your bills. The money you recharged before has been used up. Do you want to continue?" "Boss, we didn't expect the price of the trial here to be so high." Leng Yu pretended to be very embarrassed. "Boss, my family didn't give me much money for this trial, and we haven't found any other jobs yet, so we can only live off our savings. Boss, I heard that you also need some manpower here. Can you let me and my two sisters stay here?" "Don't worry, we are all hardworking and can do any job." "That's not necessary." Bai Luo was a little entangled. "The internet cafe is not busy, and the few of us are enough." "That's right. I think you have bad intentions." Gao Yangzu walked up and looked at her warily. "The internet cafe is not short of manpower now, and the few of us are enough. If you don't have enough money, you can ask your family to send it to you, and there is no need to waste time here." Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus BOOK_BAR is the first to publish this novel. "Boss, are there enough people?" "Just now, when I saw that the flow of people was particularly large, you were all so busy that you didn't have time to rest. But if I and my two sisters can help here, it will be much better. You only need to be responsible for collecting money here and leave the other things to us. Don't worry, we don't eat much, and we don't need too much wages. We just want to have a good trial here. Boss, please be kind." Leng Yu winked at him. Although her charm didn't have much effect on Bai Luo, he still felt a little sorry for a woman who was so pitiful and asked for help from him. He looked at Zhao Tu, who was lying on his table with a dying look, and after hesitating for a moment, he pointed at the internet cafe. "If you really want to stay, it's not impossible, but I have to tell you, my salary here is not much, and there are a lot of things to do, and I need your help in the kitchen. Also, the cleaning outside is very busy. Boss, why don't you give us a day to try it out? If we don't do well, you can drive us away. What do you think?" The other party's attitude has been so low. If Bai Luo doesn't agree, it will seem a bit unkind, so he can only agree. When Zhu heard this, her face suddenly became very ugly, and her footsteps were deafening, which clearly showed that she was unhappy. Leng Yu is an experienced person, and there were male cultivators who had a slightly ambiguous relationship with her before, so she naturally knew what Zhu meant. But she never took such a little girl seriously, and easily grasped her mind. Knowing that Bai Luo was in charge of all matters in this internet cafe, she only needed to conquer him, and didn't need to take other people seriously at all. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49, Playing the Pitiable. Thinking of this, she quickly called 2 followers to greet them at the door very enthusiastically. Each of them had a job in their eyes. No matter what the customer asked them to do, they were very cheerful and had a very good attitude, which was much better than Zhu. Although she also knew that the trial resources of the internet cafe were not easy to come by, she would often help when Bai Luo was busy before. But she was a proud daughter of heaven after all, and she was still young. She was not as flexible as Leng Yu, who sat on the throne of the emperor in countless open and secret struggles. She still had some temper when encountering some customers who insisted on asking her to accompany them to play games, or those with a particularly impatient personality who would swear because the delivery was a little late. Zhu would not indulge their bad tempers and quarreled with them several times in a row. But Leng Yu and the others were different. They had a very good attitude. Except for the improper behavior of customers asking for close contact, they could accept almost everything else, and could endure it when encountering customers with particularly bad tempers. They behaved so well that Bai Luo couldn't bear to let them leave, so he could only agree to let them become employees here. He even brought Chen to help him build 2 cabins for Leng Yu and her 2 followers. This place is not far from the forest, and there is no shortage of all kinds of wood. Although Chen said that he had several ready-made space magic weapons in his dungeon, Leng Yu and the others politely declined. She didn't want to have any favors with Chen, so as not to have to consider repaying favors when the 2 countries confront each other in the future. Bai Luo had no objection. Anyway, it was just 2 cabins. With the speed of him and Chen, they could build it in one day, and they could also prepare some decorations for them. Leng Yu and the others were grateful again. After successfully staying in the internet cafe, Leng Yu also observed the people who came here for the trial at any time, trying her best to remember their faces and identities, and planned to make a new table when she had time to go back at night and register all those people. In this way, even if they want to go to war with Xiangsuan country in the future, they can figure out which people are very powerful, and they must be controlled before they can attack ordinary people. After 2 days of observation, she unexpectedly discovered that Bai Luo did not know that all the games and food in the internet cafe can improve the abilities of ordinary people to varying degrees. At first, Bai Luo thought it was related to the degree of each person's bloodline. When they encountered people with particularly weak bloodlines, they could only use games as a way of entertainment. Even if there was improvement, it was only a little bit, almost negligible. But Leng Yu's observation ability is much more acute than that of ordinary people. She found that different people cooperated with different foods and games, and their combat skills and cultivation were steadily and orderly improved, and it was much safer than trying outside. Knowing that this internet cafe is a rare treasure, Leng Yu couldn't help but be greedy. If such a powerful place is used by them in the future, their Kangalang country will go upstream, and will definitely become the most powerful among the 4 countries. Thinking of this, she couldn't sit still. Although she has covered most of her face, she can still use her charm. If she can make Bai Luo listen to her orders, things will become much easier. On that day, while Zhu and her brother and sister went to the forest for training, she deliberately sent her 2 followers aside, cast her charm on Bai Luo, and approached him step by step. However, Leng Yu didn't know that her charm was completely transparent to Bai Luo. Seeing her blinking at him, Bai Luo nodded at her. Is there something wrong with your eyes? They are twitching all the time. Didn't you sleep well last night? No, boss, I sleep well here with you. Every night is very peaceful, Ling Yu replied with a smile. But after she tried a few more times, she found that Bai Luo looked normal, without any signs of being controlled, and she couldn't help feeling a little frustrated. But she has never given up easily, and she has always been a person who will never give up until she achieves her goal. Finding that the charm was useless, she began to play the victim to Bai Luo. Yesterday I received news from my hometown people, saying that the situation there is getting more and more chaotic, and asked me to find a way to pick them up outside. I don't know when the war over there will end. Where are you from? Aren't you from Xiangsuan country? Bai Luo was a little curious. I'm not from my country, Ling Yu answered half truthfully. My hometown is in a very small country called Qinghai country. Almost all the people there are accompanied by flying spirit beasts. But because the spirit beasts are quite powerful, they have been spotted by several powerful big countries, and they want to forcibly snatch the flying spirit beasts away. Everyone has been with the spirit beasts for many years, and has a deep relationship with them. Naturally, they don't agree, so they use the power of the whole country to deal with it. But there are too many of them, and they are also very strong. We are not their opponents. Now everyone is suffering from the war, and I don't know when we can get our families out. Then you are really lucky to be able to escape the war and come here with the 2 girls around you, Bai Luo answered indifferently. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR is the first to publish this novel. He had never been to that place, so who knew if what she said was true or not. Moreover, he couldn't leave easily without reaching the turnover of the internet cafe. It can only be said that distant water cannot quench immediate thirst. Ling Yu became more and more sad as she spoke, and her tears could not stop falling. Although she could not use her charm, her pitiful appearance was still very distressing. Bai Luo had finally saved up hundreds of thousands of funds, but when he heard Ling Yu crying so miserably, he didn't know why he was moved by sympathy. After thinking for a while, he said, if you are really worried about your family, I can provide some food and daily necessities. There are several stores in this Imperial City that dare to transport long-distance escorts. You can send these things back to your family. At least they can have enough food and drink, and maybe they can find a chance to escape like you. Really? Boss, you are so kind. How can I repay this kindness? Gao Yangzu was absent-minded outside, but she came back after 2/4 of an hour of trial. As a result, she saw Ling Yu talking to Bai Luo with tears in her eyes, and Bai Luo even brought her a lot of things. Gao Yangzu thought that this woman had won over Bai Luo not long after arriving at the internet cafe and asked Bai Luo to do things for her. She was so angry that her face turned black, and she walked out directly with the little rabbit in her arms. While stroking its fur, she complained, "What's wrong with Bai Luo? That woman is so ordinary, but he actually likes her and doesn't even take a beautiful woman like me seriously. What kind of aesthetic is this?" Chapter 50 Scare them away. Gao Yangzu was still very confident about her looks. After all, her mother was very beautiful, and her father was also good looking. She should be a beauty anyway. Besides, anyone with 2 eyes could see that she was much more beautiful than that woman. Okay. Bai Luo was indifferent to her, but he was extremely concerned about that woman. What a big deal. Teoti barked twice, as if to comfort her. Its injuries have not healed yet, and it is lazy all day long. It can only eat more to replenish its spiritual power. Bai Luo was quite ruthless that day. Although its external injuries have gradually healed, the hidden diseases of its internal organs have not been completely recovered. Recently, it has not wanted to move much, like a hibernating bear, all day long. Gao Yangzu has been spoiled since she was a child. When has she ever suffered such grievances? She remembered that she had made it so clear to Bai Luo before. Not only did he reject her, but he also looked like he was not involved in the worldly affairs. However, in such a short time, she hooked up with that cold heart. What is this? Is he deliberately slapping her in the face? In her anger, Gao Yangzu forgot to identify the direction around her and unknowingly walked to the west of the forest. It was not until the surrounding scene became more and more unfamiliar that she suddenly came to her senses after being reminded by the rabbit and looked around vigilantly. Teoti barely injured the discomfort of his body and reminded her, "Go back first. It's going to be dark and it's not safe in this forest. Why didn't you call me earlier?" I was so angry that I forgot where I was going. "Do you still know the way back?" Gao Yangzu took out a magic weapon that could be used for lighting and looked carefully at her feet. But there was no road in this forest. There were vines everywhere and no one knew how she had walked all the way smoothly. "There is a breath in the air. I know how to go. Come with me," said Teoti, and he continued to stay in her arms and guide Gao Yangzu how to go. But their luck was obviously not very good. Before they walked far, they met a group of people from the sect who came to investigate the nearby forces. The quality of Liuli sect's disciples was uneven. The ones who were responsible for investigating in the west this time were all ordinary people in the sect. Another group of more elite disciples were in the east and originally planned to meet up in an hour. Suddenly, they found a beautiful girl in the woods, holding a dog in her arms, without any followers. They didn't know which family she was from for the trial, and they immediately became interested. The man leading the way in front had a greedy light in his eyes. This girl was really pretty and had a pretty figure. She was much more eye-catching than the women in their Liuli sect. Thinking of this, he walked up with his men and blocked Yangzu's way. "Girl, why are you still walking outside alone at this late hour? Are you lost? Do you want us brothers to take you back? Get out of the way. Don't block the way." Gao Yangzu was furious at the moment and didn't want to give face to anyone, especially the man leading the group in front, who had shifty eyes and a huge black mole on his face. Gao Yangzu disliked him very much. In the environment where she grew up, the people who appeared around her were not ugly, and the princes of the Yang family were even more handsome. Suddenly seeing a man with a wretched look and such an ugly face, it would be strange for Yangzu to treat him well. "Girl, you have a big temper." The man leading the group's face suddenly changed, and he went forward and grabbed her arm. "Girl, why should you refuse? You are walking outside alone in the middle of the night. Don't you just want to have something happen with others? Why are you pretending? What do you mean in the middle of the night? Are you crazy? It's not even dark yet." Gao Yangzu struggled hard, but her cultivation was average and her strength was not enough, so she was no match for this man. Seeing Yang Chen being dragged away for several steps, Teoti couldn't help it. After seeing what was in the man's eyes, he suddenly roared, and a huge black shadow suddenly appeared in the air. Gao Yangzu was not strong enough to see what the shadow was, so she just stopped carefully. "Brother, what is that?" The disciples behind were all stunned. The figure in the air was as black as ink and covered with a thick layer of scales. It didn't look like an ordinary beast. "Why does this breath seem familiar?" The leading man was about to step forward to test it, but found that his feet seemed to be trapped, and he couldn't move forward at all. If Teoti hadn't been held in Yangzu's arms, she could have avoided the attack in time. I'm afraid Yangzu would have vomited blood due to the shocking roar. It was obvious that the people of Liuli sect were not very lucky. Under the pressure of the ancient beast, several of the lowest cultivation were forced to kneel on one knee. The leader was not in a good condition either. He felt a fishy sweetness in his throat and his head was dizzy. Teoti moved in Yangzu's arms, and the huge shadow in the air pounced on the people of Liuli sect. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. They had never seen such a powerful beast before, so they dared not fight. They ran away in a panic and disappeared in front of them in the blink of an eye. 02. What kind of skills did you perform just now? Is that the helper you recruited in the air? After the person disappeared, the shadow in the air also disappeared. Gao Yangzu asked curiously. She couldn't see clearly what the black fog was just now, but she felt that the breath was a little familiar. It's a helper. Okay, go back quickly. I'm so weak now. I can't hold on for many times, Teoti urged. Okay, we'll leave right away. Gao Yangzu didn't dare to waste any more time and quickly quickened her pace and ran towards the internet cafe. She even put on her best pair of shoes that were known for their speed and finally ran back safely within half an hour. After the leaders successfully contacted the elders leading the Liuli sect, they stumbled all the way over. When they saw them, they told them everything that had just happened, just like meeting their relatives. He asked with a sad face, "Elder, it's really not safe in that forest. Let's not separate tonight. It's better to take turns to keep watch together, which is safer. Why are you so timid?" The elder glared at him with disgust. "From what you described, it should be just a phantom in the air. What's so scary about it?" "But elder, the aura of that phantom is indeed quite strong. We are definitely not its opponent." "Yes, elder, it's too dangerous here. Let's go quickly." The leader was still chattering. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.